All right. And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? We got two chats going at the same time here. So my ADHD is going to be on fire tonight. Thank God I took some medication before, but yeah, we are live,
okay.
guys.
Ignore the chat or I'll help too.
Yeah,
No,
thank God
we don't ignore the chat.
No.
We're just busy talking at times.
Yeah, it's I know sometimes we get side conversations going too, and I tend to go, oh, what's going on? Yeah, nice. That's pretty cool. Like, oh yeah, we gotta do a show. I forgot. We're doing a show.
Yeah.
Kingsley, you can't do the show tonight?
Come on.
Yeah. But welcome everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us in our live chat tonight. You guys kind of get to see a little bit of the background before we actually press the record button and see how things are done for our audio listeners out there when we record stuff. But man, Kingsley, we got a lot to cover tonight, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so glad we got this TWAB explosion this week and not next week with our roundtable episode, because the roundtable episodes usually take a full 2 hours with everyone's topic, and we got 4 people next week. So I'm kind of glad they got it out of the way now this week.
And honestly, like, I mean, even when TWABs are super long, you guys will hear how like we just got to touch on certain points. It's not like we can or should or have to go over every little detail, as long as we're telling you basically what's happening. And you know, even if we read every single word, it's not like you would memorize that. So you got to go back and reference it anyways. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, lots of information from Bungie tonight. And like I said, we'll get into all that here in just a few seconds here. But just seeing how everyone is doing in chat. Everybody's doing good, I hope. Everybody's not freezing their tail off. I know, well, I'll get into it in the show, but it's been a miserable couple of weeks here in Florida. It's not been good. So, all right. I say we get this underway and get to it then. Okay. Here we go. Hey, what's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 288 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your community, your stories. Oh, I messed that up already. It's all about your stories. Sorry, Heyoka. It's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. This week, I have my co-host Kingsley Mack with me tonight. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great and glad to be here yet once again.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Well, for those who may have just discovered our podcast, we are a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise, and we like to sprinkle in some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies from time to time as well. But we've been producing audio episodes for nearly 6 years now. I was just doing the math on it. And, you know, the game's evolved and we've adapted things over that span of time and decided to do a live version of our show on YouTube and now our Discord stage channel, where you can interact with us in the chat as well, live, and our new day and time going forward. I know I mentioned in the announcements last week that we were going to start in February, but we jumped the gun. It was just so convenient for us to record on a Thursday night. So from now on, it's Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. We also have a replay of tonight's show on my YouTube channel. And of course, the audio version is always available to our podcast apps. And you can always go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, to listen to any individual episodes as well, whenever you like. Well, in this episode, we'll start by Mike and I catching up on our week. I'll then summarize the mountain of updates coming to the Crucible and Heresy with the latest dev Crucible update. Next, we'll review the key points on a weekly blog from Bungie, This Week in Destiny. I have another topic of the week, and I'm really curious what Mike thinks about this, as he's actually mentioned this topic in past episodes. Tonight, we'll draw our 2 winners for our 2025 speedrun question submissions, and as a thank you for their input, 2 lucky people will receive a $25 Amazon digital gift card, thanks to our Patreon community. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. I just wanted to remind you that if you have any feedback for anything we're talking about tonight on the show, we really do want to hear it. It's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast if you'd like an invite to our community, which is awesome, by the way. And you can post that feedback in our Guardian Downcast feedback channel. We really like to get into it week to week and lots of engagement with our members. Not to mention, you can email us also at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. You can send us a voicemail with your thoughts, comments, or questions at speakpipe.com/Guardian Downcast, or just hit our website, guardiandowncast.com, and hit the record a voicemail. speaking of feedback, later in the show, I have an important announcement that I think will make some of you happy. Maybe some of you sad. I don't know. Depends. Depends on your perspective, I guess. But I'll share more about it a little bit later on in the show. It is a bitter cold Thursday night here, even in Florida. But we're chilling out tonight, Kingsley and I, and just happy to address any comments or questions from our live chat in Discord and YouTube. So if everyone's ready, let's roll. I love it. That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, you want to go first, Kingsley? You want me to?
I can go, I guess.
Yeah, I usually go into a long diatribe. I do have some entertainment stuff I wanted to brush up on tonight. Mentioned to our members. So, all right, here we go. All right, before we get into all of the Destiny packed information tonight, Kingsley, let's catch up with the week, man. What have you been doing this week?
Yeah, and just want to start off by saying it's interesting being here again. Like you mentioned, we're recording Thursdays now, and I know we'll probably get some people a different audience. Maybe we'll lose some people, gain some other people that weren't available Friday nights. But all in all, it's a good thing for us where we have a lot of things that can potentially be done on a Friday night. And now those can be done in real life. For example, tomorrow, as we're recording this, it'll be a Friday night. I'm going to a comedy club with the wife. Nice. We have a local chain. It's called Wise Guys. There's 3 in Utah, 1 in Salt Lake, 1 in West Jordan, which is right near my house, and then 1 in Ogden. And they get all the pro comics, like the national run people, and then local people too, and everything. And there was one that we haven't heard of before. This cute Asian girl that seemed really funny, and they always have like a little trailer or preview for each comedian coming into town. So we looked at it, and we're like, oh, that looks fun, and we're really excited to go there again. It's the situation where you go in and they have like seats and tables. You can order drinks and food, of course, because you definitely want to have drinks when you're at a comedy club, right?
You better
kind of loosen up some.
You better.
Right?
Yeah. They look at you. They look at you funny if you don't drink. It's just, I don't know.
Well, in Utah, not as much.
Well, touche.
Yeah. But of course, I drink, but like, and nothing great quality, just like cheap mixes and not tons of selection. But I always tend to get a Long Island iced tea while I'm there because it's one of the better tasting of the different mixes they have. And I'd rather a mixed drink than a beer while I'm there. I just want something a little bit more. So I get a couple of those.
I swear by any time. I usually get, by the way, that's exactly what I get usually when I go to the clubs. And always get top shelf liquor. It does cost a lot more, but I tell you what, the hangovers are not as good. They're not as not as terrible on you the next day. At least they are to me.
I'm down with that, but like, there's not really choices here.
Oh,
you get what you get, and you don't complain.
I got you.
But all the cheap choices, I like their Long Island iced teas. But anyways, excited for that. We'll see going forward how things are. I've been chilling, not gaming as much this week, but started some more. I mentioned last week, but done a lot more of the Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It's such a great game. I'm glad I did hop back into it, and nothing really to say there more other than I'm still enjoying it. Destiny wise, I do want to mention a couple things. Ran the Hell's Vengeance mission that if people aren't paying attention or playing Destiny as much, or even the people that are still playing that haven't like totally stepped away, but if you're only just playing the seasonal storyline and then you're kind of like, there's not much else to do. Well, this is one of these things that not everyone knows about as much. I mean, sure, they did have it on the title screen once when you log in, but still it's like, whatever, and I don't think a lot of people really understand what this is. And so what it is like once you complete the whole storyline, they open up another node. It's another version of the Prison of Elders thing. And it's a throwback to the Skolas Prison of Elders encounter from Destiny 1. If anyone played Destiny 1, that was the ultimate, it was kind of the end game version of the prison and Contest of Elders. Now, little bit, when I say end game, that's a little bit tongue in cheek because it was the end game when it came out, and then they never kept the power level up so that if you ended up running the Skolas mission, later, like after Taken King or even in the Rise of Iron phase, which I did because I hadn't run it earlier. It wasn't that hard, but it was just the mechanics of having to pass things back and forth. But they brought it back, revamped. Some of the ideas are the same with how you pass buffs back and forth, but it is a master level activity, 2040, and it's something. It's easy in some aspects, hard in other aspects. There's no tokens that you need to worry about, like in the regular Prison of Elders, meaning, or sorry, the new,
Gotcha.
what do they call the new one? Court of Elders.
Contest of Elders. Is that it?
Yeah.
Contest? Yeah.
Well, there's two. There's the two new ones. It was Prison and Challenge, and now it's Contest and Court, I think. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. But
okay.
Anyways, with that, with the harder mode, you have like 12 tokens you start with, and as you use them, you go down to 0, and then you'll wipe if you run out, or you can gain more by taking down certain things. But on Kel's Vengeance, it's just regular revive. Like you have an encounter, unlimited revive. So as long as all three, or if you go with 2, but I highly recommend 3, as long as all 3 don't die at the same time, you're fine. You can keep doing that encounter. And there are 3 encounters, and basically what it is you go in that first entry room with the airlock, and the first encounter you have to do these challenges, or you also wipe. If you don't do the challenge, the servitor warden comes in and gets really mad and puts fire in the whole arena, and there's nothing you can do to escape. You just wipe.
Jeez.
So what the challenges for the first one is you have to get special and heavy kills up to 100% level within a certain time period. And so what you do is there's a couple ads at the beginning, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as that challenge comes up, that timer hits, then you swap over to your special and your heavy ammo. You just want to spam that as much as possible, because with all 3 of you, if you're doing that, it's fairly easy to hit that 100% threshold.
Okay.
But if 1 or 2 people were just like, oh, I don't want to use my ammo, I'm going to run out. No, you just got to spam it, and then maybe you'll pick up a couple other special bricks and you'll be okay. But if you do that, you're good. Second encounter is the Cabal room, where you have to throw the bombs at the different things. And then there's the 2, kind of like reminiscent of the Shield Brothers, but there's the 2 Cabal bosses in the middle platform afterwards.
Yeah.
And for that, the only challenge is once you throw the first 3 bombs, there's 2 more you have to throw, so a total of 5. And once you throw the first 3, once the next 2 come out, a timer starts, and you have to complete the whole rest of the encounter within that timer. And that means everything. That means hitting the next 2 bomb spots, taking down the bosses, and all the cleanup ads. Remember, with the way this works, you don't just kill the bosses. It says clean up the rest of the ads afterwards. So we even wiped with a couple different groups once, where we got the bosses down, but not all the other ads until in time. But then once you know that and you're killing things fast, you're good. Now there is a little bit of leeway too. I ran into this when I was playing it last night with Sin and Zebrak, and then I got my clear earlier with Zebrak and Fluffy. And what that leeway is let's say the timer's coming down and it's at like 0 seconds and there's still like 5 or so ads left. Well, as soon as the servitor comes out to start wiping you, that he has to spin up his mechanic. So you really have like another 5 seconds or so to actually clean those ads before you get wiped. So even if the servitor's out, don't worry, still try to get all the ads down. If they were mostly done, you'll have a few more seconds. And then even if he's starting to do his like glow and it's, oh no, we're going to die, as long as you got those last ads down before the glow actually hits you, you'll be okay.
God, I remember.
The last encounter.
Yeah,
good.
No, I was just going to say, I remember Skolas was the hardest content for me playing Destiny 1 and Prison of Elders. Yeah.
At least again, when it came out, you know, it got
And
easier later on.
I think Zombie Pops called it Tomb of Elders. Is that right?
Yeah, Tomb of Elders. Thanks. That was the
There's so many names.
Tomb, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it's the next encounter. Sorry.
And then it's Skolas at the end.
Right.
There's just 3 encounters. With Skolas, basically, there's similar things. You have a buff timer that you have to pass back and forth. I forget the names, but basically someone gets assigned it first, and then you have a timer, and you want your people to stay near you ish, or at least one person who's going to pick it up from you, stay near you.
Mm-hmm.
The person who has that thing at the time should actually play a little safer, because it's bad if you die with that. It's better if the two people without the buff are more like the killers, and then certainly you should be killing stuff too, but you want to protect your life.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to kind of call out to people 15 seconds or so, 10 seconds, and then it's usually customary for someone to pull from you at 10. But even if, they do it at 2 or 1, as long as they do it before time runs out, you're okay. But if they don't pull it from you, you die. Well, actually, the encounter wipes. So you for sure do not. It's better if you die with the buff than if you let the buff run out. That's the ironic thing, because if you die with the buff, it just goes to someone else. But if the timer runs out, it wipes the encounter.
Jeez. Oh, please
So
tell me you got some good.
back and forth.
Please tell me you got some good stuff from this. Sounds like a lot, man.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a thing to do, and a little bit more to it. I won't go through all the details, but you're passing things back and forth. Mm-hmm. You eventually kill like a scorn guy. You kill some yellow bars, and then a bigger scorn guy appears. He drops a moat. Whoever has the buff at the moment picks up that moat. Right. And then there's 3 different servitors in the field, a left, a middle, and a right. And you got to see which one's extra glowy. And you deposit the buff in the servitor. Mm-hmm. And that gets you 1/3 of the way there. And then you ultimately got to do that to the other 2 servitors. Once the 3rd servitor has a moat deposited in it, then you run to the arena. Skolas will come up there and you start damage on him. Now, one extra thing is he has, those little, like that public event that was originally in the Tangled Shore, where you had to shoot like the servitors and like all the dots were coming at it, and you got to shoot them so that they don't empower it to make it heroic. Well, that will bring Skolas's life bar back if you don't shoot those things.
Jeez.
Plus, it'll extend the time you can do DPS on them if you shoot them all. So if you weren't shooting them or only shot a couple, then you can do damage on him, but maybe at best 1/4 to 1/3, because it's kind of like fighting against you. You're bringing him down some, but then all those dots are getting him some health, so it goes back. And you don't have as long as a DPS phase either. But if you have like one person that's in charge of shooting those things, then they can do that. And then the other 2 people will actually do more overall DPS, because none of them are going to heal him. Plus, you have a longer DPS phase. So basically, you just kind of do that anywhere between 1 to 3 phases, and you're good. Now, I do want to actually, we'll loop to this later. Bungie and the TWID, one of the videos of the week, actually, they give away, I'm really surprised to see this, they give away an easy mode to do the encounter dealing with a Titan bubble and shotguns. So I'll get to that when we get to the TWID.
Well,
it makes it much easier.
We had a question from Ruben stuff in the YouTube chat, and he goes, do you recommend the new exotic Void Shoddy? Have you been able to try it a little bit, or?
You mean from the exotic mission?
Yeah, the new exotic.
Yeah, because we weren't talking about that for this thing, but yeah, as far as that question, I don't use it that much.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I don't know. Have you used it much?
I don't like shotguns. Never have, never will. Except there's a few exceptions, but I'm just not a shotgun guy, guys. Even there's a I'm glad you're bringing that up in the 12. I know exactly where you're going with that, because I can't wait to use. That's the one shotgun I do love to use. One of the few.
In PvE, though, shotguns are sometimes meta. Actually, in fact, also on Val the Disciple raid, if you want to do like a super meta strat, it's also a similar thing. We did this actually for Raid Race, where you we might have even done it for Pantheon. I'm trying to remember. No, I think it was just for Raid Race, but the same shotgun, the exotic, what's it called? The
exotic shotgun?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the one they're going to be buffing?
Well, the one in the TWID that
you're talking about the ARC one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll grab
someone in the chat, let us know.
I'm going to beat you to it. I'm going to beat you to it. I'm in dim. I don't discard that weapon at all.
Damn it. Beat you to it.
I'm running slow tonight. Sorry, guys. My bad.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Usually, of any of the shotguns, the ones you're going to kind of use for some crazy meta strat. Although in the past, I remember way earlier in D2, there was those what was that shotgun, the Ikelos, where you would do the punch, you get extra
Yeah,
DPS, and Legend Acris, you would have that too.
and they
So,
they nerfed it though, where we quit using it. I
yeah,
remember we used to use it in what was it, the raid in the Dreaming City.
yeah. Well, that's the Last Wish raid.
Last Wish, exactly. We used to use it all the time on the on the witches in the center areas where we had to line up all the beams. And I remember we would go to town on her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they nerfed it and then everyone just abandoned it. So I think they've tried to bring it back a little bit, but it's still not as what it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, so the new Void shotgun, I don't know. But back to the Skolas encounter.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It was interesting, and I think a lot of people probably won't hop in it because it is harder content, or they don't care or don't understand what it is. But it's a slight shame because it really kind of brings a lot of things full circle as far as lore and storyline. Because Skolas has been around the idea since D1, and of course the idea is Fikrul has him revived also to bring, like, even though Fikrul was the boss for the storyline, Skolas is kind of like the true boss of this episodic content. This really is the end game, quote unquote, encounter of the whole episode. Right. And I recommend people try to check it out. It is hard, but if you can get a team with a couple killers or just keep, practicing at it, it can take a long time. Like, if depending on your level, I mean, it can take like an hour or two, just to get it done if you're wiping and stuff. And I liked it. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily want to hop in at tons. Now, as far as loot, I mean, there is lots of loot. I wasn't really paying attention to all the weapons and things that I got, but there was tons of loot. You do get a guaranteed ship. It's this ship actually from D1, the one that Mara comes down and collects Skolas and pulls them up, from the top of the tower.
Really?
It looks like that ship. So you get that ship.
Okay.
And then there's an emblem that is RNG, but Bungie did buff being able to get it. A lot of people are reporting getting in it within 3 runs ish, if at all,
I hear you, man.
And the emblem's pretty cool looking. I don't know if I entirely care about it going back in. If people need people, I'll maybe hop in again, and maybe I'll eventually get the emblem. But that is part of the other loot also.
Everybody's saying all the changes that are coming in the 12. Hold. We're not there yet, guys. Not there yet. You played a lot more PvE than I did this week. That's for sure. Anything else you wanted to talk about before I go into my diatribe?
No, we have a lot to talk about tonight.
I got a monologue tonight. I'm going to just apologize in advance. My topic of the week I've been thinking about all week, and I wrote quite a bit about it. So we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But man, I got to tell you, this whole week, the last 2 weeks, have just been a shit show weather-wise in Florida. I mean, we Floridians are a strange lot, and we don't get our daily sunshine. We lose it. At least I can speak for myself. We kind of get out there a little bit. So we are just spoiled with clear skies and plentiful sun for most of our winter season. And this week, I think I saw the sun one day. It's just been miserable. I really don't know how some of you guys up in the U.S., further in the U.S. and the world for that matter, deal with months of gray skies and brutally cold winds. I guess your summers are nice, and that's when we have to.
It's not months of gray skies, actually. It's the temperature. Yeah. And then a lot of times we'll get sun.
But but then again, we have to pay the price for the nice winter weather by spending 7 months of the year living in air conditioning. So I guess it's a wash. But on average,
actually, you have that up north too. Trust me, it gets in the 90s and 100s up north too during the summer.
Okay, all right. Well,
yep.
I mean, on average, I think our high this entire week has been around the low 50s, and we've been in the mid 40s for the last few days. It's really weird. It's just hovered 40. It's like today was high 46. I actually went out and tried to get a few clients done. 46 degrees, and it was sideways misting rain. It was just a miserable day, man. But enough about the weather, because I know Mr. Fudd will tell me to move on. But for me, it's been lighter gaming this week. It's been Iron Banner. Iron Banner is here for its second time around. And I got to tell you, man, Something has changed in Iron Banner because I think I know what it is because I was talking it out with some of the people in our Discord. I think a lot of people now who are maybe play a lot of Iron Banner are playing more solo games than in groups, because a lot of your friends that you used to always get together with and play Iron Banner with are playing other games now, because let's face it, Destiny's at a pretty low point right now. So I played solo, and I tell you what, every game was a sweat fest. And then last week I played with Guardian Downcast community, and man, I had a lot of fun. It was chill, and I played on PC even. Just chill games, not too sweaty. And we'd won probably 80% of our games, and we had all kinds of skill levels. We were just having fun, you know? So that's been the extent of my gaming in Destiny this week. But I have really finished a ton of TV shows, and I wanted to talk about that tonight because I just finished season 2 of Silo on Apple TV, and it was really dark. I mean, literally, I had to turn the brightness up on my TV to max. The movie's so dark, because it's always in dark, dingy areas. But, you know, I mentioned earlier in the past episodes that the story just kind of slogged along. But I've been kind of stuck, just stuck watching it to see where it all went. So a little bit at a time, I've been watching the episodes, and I finally finished the season ending. And although it was a little confusing at the very end, I was surprised with the story and found out a lot about how the silos, or reason the silos are put in the ground, and a real important secret that I'm not going to spoil. That it's a kind of a big twist at the end where you're like, what the hell? So, it's been mentioned that there's going to be a season 3, and it's going to be totally different in like another time frame, like maybe a prelude of before Silos came, maybe, or something like that. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's a good time to jump in and see what you think. If you like the Fallout series that came out last year, I think you'll get into this one. It's kind of a Fallout light one, a little more story. Not so much based on a game, but it was still very good. My wife and I also finished up, I can't remember if I said this last week, but the Netflix series No Good Deed, which is kind of like Only Murders in the Building from Hulu. It's dark, it's funny, and it ended up really well too. Kind of the mystery was kind of solved at the end, and I thought it turned out really good. I also finished up the latest Taylor Sheridan feature, Landman, that was starring Billy Bob Thornton on Paramount Plus TV. This was one of my top TV shows from our year-end top 5 show. It's about the oil business in the heart of Texas country, where Billy Bob plays the regional manager of a huge oil company led by a billionaire family who's played by John Hamm and Demi Moore. And as per usual, the first season ends with a huge shift for the characters and storyline. And this is a fantastic show. And all the episodes are all out now. So if you want to go to Paramount TV, Paramount Plus, whatever they call it, I can't keep track. The whole season's out. So if you're missing some of your Taylor Sheridan, check it out. This is a really good show. At first I was a little, it wasn't a Western. So I'm thinking, yeah, it's not Taylor Sheridan does Westerns good. I don't know how he's going to do with this. It was really good. So my wife and I, movie wise, we kind of decided to chill this week on the movie front, because there's a couple movies we want to see, but she's been kind of wrapping up her school testing, and we've just kind of been hanging out more at home this week. I mean, with the crappy weather, I don't blame her for wanting to stay home. I wanted to see the new Wolfman, but I tell you what, the reviews from critics and audience has not been good for that movie. So this might be getting shifted to a watch later and streaming service kind of movie. Flight Risk with Mark Wahlberg, about a hitman who impersonates a pilot. That's, and they're transferring a big government witness who's about to testify against the mob. That's on our list next. And my wife and I are going to see a comedian. You're seeing a comedian tomorrow night for our anniversary. My wife got tickets to, a big comedian, in, I'll just say a major place in Orlando. Saturday night, we'll be going to that. So that'll be a nice change. Hopefully the weather, I think, will be heating up by then. But, we're going to see, another movie that's probably going to get on our list because it got such good reviews. Is it's about an android that was built for human companionship that goes haywire. The movie is called Companion.
I want to see that.
That arrives the last week of January. So that one's, the critics I have this at 95% so far. So
Is that another 824 or
I hope so.
I almost think it is, but
I tell you,
not that it totally matters.
Kingsley, everything A24 has been putting out lately has been gold. I mean, all their
Well,
independent films.
Most of them are, yeah.
Were we going to say what's the
Right.
exception?
Well, I forget now. Oh, the main reason why I want to see Companion is because it has the same actress in it from Heretic.
Yes. Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. It looks good. And when it got such good reviews, I think I saw one preview on it. I was like, man, that just looks like a really good show to watch. So we'll probably watch that one. We're finishing up the first season of The Penguin on HBO. My wife and I just watched the latest. We have one episode left, and man, that is a well-written show. And it's all about Arkham and the Penguin and the Batman saga, and Batman's not in it, but it's about that, that time frame. And whew, it is really intense. It's a real intense show. And I think RNG was telling me it really ramps up nicely. So probably next couple of days, we'll see the last episode of that to wrap up that season. I just started up Severance on Apple TV since season 2 just dropped this week. So I'm kind of getting caught up. I think I watched 2 episodes and went, it's kind of slow. And I got to tell you, man, I'm on episode 4. Severance is crazy good. I cannot believe Ben Stiller's behind this one, by the way. And, it is such a good show. So that's my latest obsession right now. When I always watch a show, before I go to bed at night, and I've been watching an episode every night, and it's, man, that show is nuts. There's a scene where they show some medical procedure they do, and it will freak you out. You'll be like, I can't believe they're actually getting away with doing this. But, I won't spoil too much, but it's really good. Actually, my wife, after we finish Penguin, she wants to watch, speaking of Taylor Sheridan on Paramount TV, 1923, with, I think it has Harrison Ford in it. It's the one with Harrison Ford. And season 2, I think it's dropping like in February, first part of February. So she decided to watch that. And I've got to tell you, man, watching it back again after I watched it middle of last year, that is a really good show too. 1923. So watch that one if you haven't yet. Paramount Plus, Paramount Plus is the kind of streaming service where they're killing it, and then you'll get nothing for like 3 months. And of course Netflix, they're always pumping out stuff, but right now Paramount Plus is killing it. So if you like Yellow Jackets, the 3rd season drops on February 14th on Paramount Plus. That was an awesome show, and it's a good time to jump in and catch up with that. It's about a female sports team that has a plane crash, like in an undisclosed area. And what happens there is nuts. It's off the rails. Very suspenseful show. And if you haven't seen it, good time to get into that and start to catch up on that, because the 3rd season's coming out in a few weeks. If you like movies, there's 2 good ones you want to watch that I saw at the theater. The first one is Gladiator 2, which dropped on Paramount Plus. Like I said, they're either hot or they're not. It's not as good as the original, but what movie really is as good as the original? It's worth a watch. And just to see Denzel in it made it for me. I mean, he's such a character in that version. Another movie which just hit my top 5 list on our top 5 show is out this Saturday. Ironically, it's the movie about how it all started on Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night, the movie, arrives this week. If you're a fan of comedy, you don't want to miss this one. And that is on Netflix, I believe. I didn't write it down. I think it's Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's Netflix. Don't hold me to it, but I'm pretty sure it's Netflix. Let's see. That is, that's it for me. It's been all TV shows this week. No movies at the theaters this week. Next week, we'll probably be going to see some stuff. But yeah, that's it for me, man. Anything else you wanted to add, Kingsley?
I don't think so. I'm ready to talk about more.
Well, it is time. Here's the way it's going to work tonight. Me and Kingsley are going to tag team this because it's a lot of information. I'm going to do the Crucible dev update, and it's huge. And then Kingsley's going to tag in, and he's going to start tackling that massive TWAB we had this week. So we'll get to that right after this. I know you guys love it when I say that, right? Or is it getting old yet? Me saying we'll be right back after this. It's a segmented show, so
I know.
I have to, I kind of put that in for the post recording guys. So
Yeah.
King Tut, Gator, have you seen American Primeval? My wife is watching it and it is wild. Huh. I haven't checked that one out yet. I'll have to look into that. Anybody else in, yeah. Oh, Sin's in the house. What's up, Sin? Good to see you, brother. Hope you're not working too hard.
You wanted to speak. I don't know if we want to for a second or.
We can do it in between. Sure. Go ahead and ride him on. We'll have to kick him though, because we're the way that everything's set up here. But
Sin, so we can move on. What's up?
Oh, actually, he shows up all right.
Hello.
Who's this? Who is this Sin you speak of, Kingsley?
Coming to you live from the streets of Baltimore.
Oh my God, really?
Oh, that I started.
Well, no, I'm driving home, but
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Baltimore, I started rewatching The Wire this week. I love The Wire. That's in Baltimore, but
Oh my God. It's good to hear from you, man.
heck yeah.
Hey, are you in the ghettos? Are you in the projects of Baltimore?
No, I'm out of Baltimore now. I'm almost to Frederick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, did you just want to say hi or?
Oh yeah, I was just butting in since you were between.
Yeah. Well, we have lots to talk about tonight.
Hey, no,
So-
I'm glad Sin's here because I wanted to ask him. Hey, man, you want to jump on a guest show in the future? I'd like to catch up with you, man.
Heck yeah, I could do that.
All right, I'll get with you later. We'll figure out a date. Yeah, it'd be good to talk with you again, man.
Slide up into those DMs.
You got it, man. You got to slide
And
up
I'm fine with an occasional Friday, but we're mostly just doing Thursdays now. But
Yeah.
like if we ever had to do like a one-off, Todd, I mean, I could do that.
We'll figure it out. I'm doing a pre-recording of one of our community members after the raid race, so I'm willing to work around especially if someone really wants to be on. So yeah, good deal. Well, hey man, it's good to hear from you. I saw you jump.
Heck yeah, you can. Oh, sorry, there might be a delay with the Bluetooth and
Well,
stuff. But I'll say I'll back out when you guys start.
Yeah, I know. I just saw you. I saw you in our Discord this week, and I wanted to say hey, but I mean everybody's just got things they're doing right now. So hey man, I appreciate you stopping by and saying hi.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's how we roll.
Thank you, man. Good to hear from you.
See you, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, I'll be talking with him. We'll see if we can get him in, just see what it's up with it. Now, King Tut, is this legit? Is this really legit? King Tut says, I got a call from Bungie on Tuesday. I got invited to do a play testing.
Just trolling you.
I got invited to do a play testing at the headquarters in Washington next month. I'm pumped for that. No, he acts like he's excited about this. Dude,
Well, unless he's always trolling you, I would take it at face value at first.
That could be too. Yeah, that could be too. Man, we got some great football this weekend, don't we? I can't wait. Some good lineups this weekend. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic. Look, a ball. All right, here we go. Let me get I got everything lined up here and get into it. Man, we got a lot to talk about. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Crucible updates. All right. No, I can send you the emails. Okay.
That's legit.
Send me the emails. Send me a screen cap. That'll be enough. I'll know if it's Bungie because they sent me stuff.
You don't
too.
have to send it to me. I believe you, King Tut.
Right. Sure you do. You're just telling me to watch him. I got you.
No. I said, unless he's always trolling you.
I'm going to get a drink real quick. All right. Boy, we got a lot. Okay. Here we go. All right. I'm going to start out with God, they are making so many changes, guys, for Crucible. They really want you to come back and play Crucible, and man, the stuff they are giving you is crazy. But okay, I got to break this down where my ADHD brain doesn't go crazy. They are making major updates to Trials of Osiris. Let's start there, right? Trials of Osiris, they say, has several problems that we're looking to solve with this rework. Primarily, Trials is perceived as simply not fun or rewarding for the average to below average players. Here, I'm going to throw this screen cap on here. And they say that in terms of rewards, there's been a lack of new aesthetic rewards. Agree. especially motivational ones for high skill players, and our weapon rewards have not consistently been best in class. I agree as well. The game mode itself is not always fun to play at high stress level. While we have made strides to address this with the 8.1.5.3 weapon tuning and the 8.2.0 ability tuning mentioned above, we're also making some minor changes to the Dominion game made to improve the experience. Finally, we want to solve the issue where fire team based matchmaking can make it too difficult to play with friends. But we need to do this in a way that does not sacrifice the enjoyment of our solo players who make up the most of our population. I knew that was the case. The solution we landed on needed a little bit of extra time in the oven, but it's currently scheduled for the release alongside Heresy Act 2. So keep that in mind. It's not going to happen right at Heresy. Okay, let's get into the rework. To solve the above problems, what they're doing is they're giving more rewards by stepping back from requiring flawless to earn the lion's share of rewards. Instead, we're going to be focusing on rewarding all the players while giving exclusive aesthetic rewards to those who demonstrate the highest skill. And I was just having a talk with Jimmy Rayner in the Discord about this, and he didn't like it because he thought the lighthouse should be a special thing. And I half agree with him, because when you go to the lighthouse after going flawless, it really is a special event. But I can guarantee you that probably only 5% of the player base ever reaches that lighthouse. And most of them
if we're talking about that now, yeah, I have a comment too.
Yeah. Most people, what do? They go to Grenader Jake's stream, or a streamer who has another boss player with them. And they typically, what they do is they carry this person who wins a raffle, or even, God forbid, pays for it. And they play the game, and they get him flawless, and they take him to they say, here, there's your passage. See you later. We got to go do it 5 million more times today. But that, I would say, a majority of players that are not normal Trials players go to the lighthouse that way. What's your comment?
Yeah. So, and you'll get more of the details of what it means, what the new flawless experience is later. But as far as the change that you were just mentioning, I think it's probably a good change, because the thing about the actual lighthouse location is it's been there forever now, and it is somewhat normal. It's not like it needs to or always has to be done, but when things have been around for a long time and they want more people to experience it, it's okay to eventually down the road let more people experience it, and then have a new exclusive thing. So, and who cares about the play space? I've been there once before. I got flawless with Lumina and Mia, and the play space was whatever. It's not like you can stay there or go back in.
Yeah.
I mean, so to me, I think this is probably a good thing. It'll get more people interested in trying to, that have never seen that space before, go there on the easier modes. And then when we talk about a little bit later what you get for going flawless, there's still obviously some extra benefits for doing that.
They're really up in their game, I'll tell you. But you know what? I'll listen to really high level players in PvP and Crucible, and most of them say the same thing. They say if it increases more people and puts more people in the player base that are playing this game and the population grows, I don't care what they got to do to get people to play, because they just want to play with a broader, group of players. So they have more variety when they're playing. A lot of these guys are so good, they end up playing the same teams 10, 12 times during the day. If they're playing all day, like in a stream or something. So, and unfortunately, sometimes they'll get the same cheaters several times a day. I've watched Grenader Jake streams where he encounters cheaters, the same cheaters. They'll try to stream snipe him and try to jump into his matches and stuff. So that just does not make a good time as well. But all right, so what are they going to do, right? What are they going to do to bring people to play more of the Trials? Well, the first thing they're going to do is simplify how players engage with it. They're streamlining the matchmaking states to make it more obvious how you are being matched with opponents. And the second way is they're improving the game mode rules to encourage focus on fighting first and zone control second, because Dominion is the only game mode in Trials. They're not changing that. It's still going to be Dominion, where you, at the very end, you capture a point. And if you capture the point before the clock runs out, or or before you're all killed, you win the match. It's pretty simple. But what they're doing here, and jumping a little bit ahead here, but what they're going to do with the rules of Dominion is they're extending the clock 10 seconds from 30 seconds to 40 seconds, I believe, before the capture zone even appears. So what they're hoping will happen is people will actually try to get into a gunfight and, you know, try to thin out the team before they actually have to go capture a point. And of course, if you kill the other team in Dominion, you don't have to worry about the point. You've won the match. So you can win it by two different ways. You can either capture the point and, you know, before the other team can get to it and neutralize it, or you just flat out eliminate all the other team. So there's two ways to do it. So they're changing the rules a little bit where there's more gunfight and not these people who pub stomp all day who just jump and grab the zones and move on. So they're let's talk about the lighthouse passage. The first thing they're going to change is who gets access to the fabled simulation on Mercury. They say this experience is like what players currently get when they're playing on a Mercy, Ferocity, or Persistence card. But our goal is to move Trials away from the flawless or bust based system to a get 7 wins on a card, plus the longest win streak system. Lighthouse for everyone, but much better rewards for the longer win streaks. That's how they're going to reward the elite players. They're going to give them a ton more rewards when they do that initial chest opening at the Lighthouse. I really like this because this makes Trials more like Iron Banner. And Iron Banner, I'm sorry, they attract so many more players when it comes to Destiny than it does in Trials every weekend. And I mean, look at the stuff they're giving here. They're saying all you need to do, win 7 games on a Lighthouse passage. That's all you got to do. And
so even if you win like 1 and then lose 20 and then win another 6, eventually, as long as you get 7, you're good.
Well, I played solo the new Persistence card, and I've gone flawless several times doing that. And the only difference between what we're talking about now and the Persistence card, which kind of annoyed me, it's all about win streaks. So let's say I win the first game on my Persistence card. I'm all set. I've got a little dot, right? That's 1 toward my 7. Well, if I lose the next game, guess what happens to that dot? It goes to 0 again. So what you're trying to do in a Persistence card is get lucky enough to win 3 or 4 games in a row. But after you get that, here's a good thing. But once you get 2 wins in a row, you lock in the 1 dot. So I'm saying it's a game of persistence. You're basically playing, all you're trying to do with the Persistence card is get 2 wins in a row. 2 wins in a row, 2 wins in a row, 2 wins in a row. Before you know it, you're at your 7 wins and you got your adept weapon. Now I will say this with a Persistence card, I didn't go to the Lighthouse. So what they're saying here, and this is a big change, everyone who gets 7 wins goes to the Lighthouse. Now where the difference is going to lie is when you get to that chest, when you're opening up at the Lighthouse, opening that chest up, the rewards are going to be very different depending on if you're flawless, how many win streaks you have, and of course how many wins you have total. That's what they're going to go by. And if you win 7 and you want to keep going, the rewards, just like they always have, will keep piling on the rewards after that as well. Let's see. I'm going to just quickly go through the rewards because it gets very monotonous here when they're talking about it. But repeatable Lighthouse chest rewards earned on every Lighthouse visit until a flawless passage is earned, which means if I'm playing solo, I'm probably not going to get flawless. So every time I get 7 wins, I'm going to the Lighthouse. I can get 1 to 2 enhancement prisms, the base Trials weapon of the week, Trials armor, Osirian ciphers, Ascendant shard chance. I get a 45% chance of one of those dropping.
That's pretty high, actually.
That is high. It's 1 and 2 pretty much.
Yeah.
The Adept Trials weapon chances. You'll have 2 chances to earn the Adept Trials weapons for each Lighthouse chest. The chances for a drop are dependent on your highest weekly win streak and the number of wins completed as a full fire team. These chances are not additive. They are separate, meaning if you win 7 games as a trio and get a 3 win streak, you will get 2 adepts from the Lighthouse chest. If you win 1 game as a trio and get a 1 win streak, you will have a 15% chance and one 30% chance for an adept. So you could still get 2 adepts if you meet those chances, you get lucky. Weekly win streak. This chance is based on the longest win streak you have earned throughout the week, not the longest win streak on your current passage. 1 win, 30% chance. 2 win, 60% chance. So the key here is to get a 3 win streak, because you get a 100% chance of getting the adept weapon. So wins as trio. The chance is based on how many of your wins on the way to the lighthouse were done as a full fire team. If all 7 wins were done as a full fire team, whether you lost them in between or whatever, you're guaranteed at least 1 adept, regardless of your longest win streak. So 1 win to 7 wins, 15 to 100%. Then they have weekly win streaks. This, you know, how you have, you know, win 50 rounds and you get like a pinnacle weapon drop. That's like one of the weekly challenges. They're adding something even more called weekly win streak awards. The reward packages for each win streak milestone can be claimed once per week and are in addition to the repeatable lighthouse chest rewards. Think about how much gear you're going to get here. Note, earning a higher tier weekly win streak award will also grant all lower tier weekly win streak awards that have not yet been claimed. So you're going to, if you have a really great card, you have a really good win streak for your week, you're going to get everything. Just boom, done. You can walk away and go with whatever you want, unless you want to come back and keep getting the repeatable loot. So 1 win streak, enhancement cores, prisms, ascendant shards, adept mod, if you don't have your adept mods, ghost shell, 50 progress points. Now this is something I like that they're doing. They're giving away ghost shells, all the past ghost shells for trials, all the past ships, and all the past sparrows. And how they're doing it is you actually are gaining points on a bar, and they're going to explain it lower. So, but I'm just showing you 50 progress points. You get a ghost shell, hardened by trial emblem. You get it the first time, only if you haven't already earned it. So if you get a 2 win streaks, you get 2 Osiren ciphers, 3 win streak, you get the ciphers and a piece of trials armor, the new stuff they're coming out with. 4 win streak, you get my point. The more win streaks, look at 5 win streak. You pretty much get everything if you get a 5 win streak. I mean, you're getting a yellow trials glow. You're getting Osirian ciphers, base trials weapon. You get a trials memento for 5 wins. It's a 5 win streak for the week. You get a trials vehicle, 30 progress points toward, I told you how that worked. The ghost shell, the shaders, those are really good too. Flawless emblems. You have all the past flawless emblems that you'll start to collect too with 5 wins for the week. A white trials glow. If you go 6, 7 wins, you get a red trials glow. So what they're doing here is for the elite people that are like, well, why should I even play anymore? Because I'm getting all the same stuff as everyone else. No, you're getting a red trials glow and you're unlocking everything in the first shot. So if you're one that usually goes flawless in trials, you're going to get all your rewards all right up front. So you're getting rewarded for being an elite player is what I'm saying. All right.
And and the adept weapon, and of course the stat tracker for flawless wins.
Yeah, and you get the stat tracker starts to begin as well. It starts to kick in. So there's so much information on this, but here's okay, let's just go through it because I want to make sure we're all clear on how this works. After you have earned access to the lighthouse, your passage will change to a completed lighthouse passage. It utilizes weekly performance-based matchmaking if everyone in your fire team is on a completed lighthouse, flawless, or trials passage. We'll be experimenting with using weekly performance to allow us to match mixed skill fire teams that exclusively play together based on their cumulative performance for the weekend instead of individual skills. Utilizing open skill if anyone in your fire team is on a lighthouse passage. This experience is what players currently get when you are playing on a flawed card after having visited the lighthouse. Players who continue to play on a completed lighthouse passage will get extra rewards, like I mentioned, based on their highest weekly win streak as described below. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's really, they really are making playing trials so much more. And what's the thing I've always said, Kingsley? Show me the path, show me what I got to do, and show me what rewards I'm going to get for it, and I'm probably going to show up. So As mentioned, players who have gone to the lighthouse and continue to play on a completed lighthouse passage will get additional rewards for their highest weekly win streak. So it's about that weekly win streak as far as what tier of rewards you're going to get. Higher win streaks can increase the drop chances compared to the lower ones, or allow chances to gain additional exclusive rewards. We're also experimenting with mini jackpot rewards for materials, which are like a small additional chance to earn double or triple rewards. And there's a table in here that'll show you what I just said. And I would just recommend that you go to bungie.net and just study this card the way they have it here. All right, the flawless passage. Players who have earned all 7 weekly win streaks. We don't really care about those guys. Never mind, moving on. Okay, never mind.
We already kind of mentioned it.
We kind of mentioned it. You're going to basically get all your stuff earlier, where you don't have to run as many runs. In a nutshell, that's what that's basically meaning. All right,
also, you probably don't get the red glow and the stat tracker unless you go flawless, right?
Yes, you will not get a red glow. You will not get a red glow if you don't go flawless. If you go 5 wins, you'll get a yellow. I think you get a white glow if you've gone to the lighthouse. So that's the way they've separated it out. Now, the Trials of Osiris passage, we want to provide a separate place in Trials that is more like Iron Banner in terms of rewards and matchmaking to get additional players into the ecosystem. If you're asking why would we want to make any part of Trials more like Iron Banner, I love this. What they say here. Iron Banner averages more than 3 times the daily participation of Trials. In the last 48 months, 4 years, Trials has had more than 20% daily participation only 18 times, which is actually the exact same number of days that Iron Banner has had less than 20% participation. In fact, the worst performing Iron Banner we had during that period still had almost identical participation to the best performing run of Trials over the same period. So you see why they're doing this. They want to get more people to play the other part of the Crucible playlist. Compared to Iron...
then real quick,
yeah,
they should have made, I don't know, like Iron Banner is also a weekly event. Why not make Trials a little bit more than just the weekend? You know,
that's true.
If they really want to get people to play more.
But they so you know, they're not bringing starting in Heresy. You're only going to get Iron Banner on 1 week, not 2 weeks. They're coming back. They're reeling that back, which I kind of agree with.
I thought I saw 3 times it was coming.
Well, they're going to have it. They're going to have it more often. But keep in mind when Iron Banner's in town, Trials is not.
Trials is never a week at a time. It's only a weekend plus the Monday.
And you know the reason they did that, right? Is because no one was playing Trials. If they did have them where they coexisted a few times in the early days of Destiny 2, they would have Iron Banner like every weekend without fail, and then when Trials every weekend without fail, and when Iron Banner would come to town, all the Trials players would go play Iron Banner, and Trials was just a joke. I mean, I remember hearing streamers say, "There's no reason to even play on Iron Banner weekend."
I meant like Trials should go for a full week when it's around, like Wednesday, Thursday also, because there might be people that would play, like when Iron Banner's not around, there might be people that want to play Trials on a Wednesday, Thursday night, you know?
Yeah, and currently it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday event right now. So think of it like Xur. When Xur's in town, Trials is in town. So that's just the way they've always had it, I guess. Used to mean something back in the early days of Destiny 2 because really good teams would practice all week in the regular Crucible playlist, and then they were practicing so they get ready for the weekend to crank out and win Trials matches. But Trials just isn't what it used to be. I mean, this game is going on year 11 now, so I think this is a good move. But they said compared to Iron Banner, players who are not able to consistently go flawless find Trials to be unapproachable due to both the lack of rewards. Exactly. And how unfair many of the games feel with randomized matchmaking and lobby balancing. For a mode that needs a high population to thrive, this is a problem. Because many average and below average skill players do not participate in the current version of Trials at all, due to the perception that flawless is impossible and the experience will be negative. This leads to a baseline skill creep that on average makes Trials 10 to 15% harder than normal PvP and perpetuates the cycle. And this is very true. I've experienced this firsthand. The skill creep is crazy in Trials. Usually you'll have a team that's either just will blow you away, or you'll have a team that's wandering in there and they're sheep. So there's not much in between is what I'm saying. You're either going to get blown out in a match, or you're going to have a match where you're going to be playing against people who are, hey, let's try this trials out, you know? So the skill creep is immense. There's a lot of really good players playing trials. And then because many average and below average skill players do not participate in the current version of trials, all due to perception that flawless is impossible and the experience will be negative. This leads to a baseline skill creep on average makes trials. I just said that. Sorry. This experience builds off the practice pool, which despite the lower total population has helped keep average and below average player participation in trials over the last several months around 20% higher than the similar below point than before the 2021 rework, before they did all the player pools, like the flawless pool and the flawed card. You go into a separate pool. They did that back in 2021. They utilize weekly performance skill based matchmaking. We talked about that. It's all about your win streaks throughout the week. And the passage allows players to take advantage of the improvements of the base reward structure of trials that will be detailed below. Increase rep, rewards, wins, losses, challenges, earning ghost shells. So let's get into that part. Wins grant reputation, a chance for an engram, chance for a base trials weapon, a small amount of progress towards those rewards I told you about. Losses also grant reputation. They're saying 10 times more than what it currently gives. Let's think about that. It's all about participation. A chance for a base trials weapon. So it seems like all the time you're playing, you have a chance to get a trials weapon, which for some of you who don't play a lot of trials, that would be very nice. Additive extras on top of it. Playing in a full fire team, win or loss, you get bonus rep, chance for a base trials weapon, chance for an engram. Playing with a clanmate, which that'll be Warcry for me, win or loss, you get bonus rep on top of that. Challenges, like when you're 50 rounds, you'll get pinnacles plus trial armor pieces now. And winning 7 games will do the same thing. So those are your 2 challenges for the week. Winning 7 games and winning 50 rounds. I always did the 50 rounds to get the pinnacle, but I never got trials armor. I don't think I did. So anyway, so let's look at the rewards, right? Let's look and see what they're bringing. All right. I'm impressed. This hunter is fire. I mean, look at this hunter. He looks like a kitty cat. I mean,
I don't like the cat face.
I don't know, man. I like it. I really do. There's a new emblem. There's the new sparrow, and there's the new ship that they show there. They don't show the ship on screen, but they show the beetle sparrow behind it. Now that we're talking about how Trials experience will be updated, let's go over the specific rewards that Trials of Osiris will offer and talk about some of the changes to the way they are granted. New armor. You can see there's showing the hunter right there. Armor pieces will not be able to be earned from engrams until they have been unlocked. So it's just like Iron Banner. You have to unlock it first, either via challenges or from the Lighthouse chest rewards. So that's where you're going to get your new armor pieces. There's the hunter. I got to admit, Kingsley, I'm not jiving with this warlock. What do you think? I'm
not jiving with any of them.
I don't like the helmet. I don't like the helmet.
I think the Titan one's the best out of all 3, but
yes.
I just don't like this schema as much.
Titan looks like Anubis. I mean, that's just badass. Anyway, at bungie.net, if you're not watching the live stream, this is what we're looking at right now is the actual armor. They show it, all 3 armor sets. New cosmetics. Cosmetics are earned on a point system. Various actions give you points, such as completing challenges, winning games, or opening the Lighthouse chest. Your chance of getting a cosmetic from those actions increases exponentially as your total points increases. If you hit the upper limit of the points, which is 1,000, you get it guaranteed. So no more grinding and never getting that RNG for it to drop. Man, could they do this in some other parts of this game? But I digress. Earning any cosmetic from the pool resets your points. Cosmetics are divided into vehicles, ships, and sparrows, which are exclusive to players who can earn high win streaks, and ghost shells, which all players can earn. But it's faster if you go to the Lighthouse and get higher win streaks. And Heresy will be introducing new ship and sparrow, along with a new ghost shell. All the existing Trials of Osiris vehicles will be in one pool, and on all Trials of Osiris ghost shells will be in the second. These are on knockout list. Knockout, meaning you cannot get duplicates from either pool. So if you play enough, you'll eventually earn them all. The new Trials emblem, Lighthouse Keeper, will also be earned this way exclusively for players who get the upper win streaks, which was 5 win streaks. Win 5. That's the key. Win 5. You win 5, you're going to get a ton of stuff. And I got to tell you, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. They're bringing some new weapons too. Keen Thistle. It's a solar aggressive sniper rifle. The left column, snapshot sights, lone wolf, under pressure, incandescent, envious arsenal, slick draw, triple tap, right column, opening shot, closing time, discord, bait and switch, moving target, vorpal weapon, 4 times the charm. The origin traits will be Trials, Crucible, and Haka. And I'm looking at snapshot, opening shot. But if you play PvE, triple tap, 4 times the charm looks really good. If you're really wanting to do DPS on a boss, headshots. They're bringing back the Exalted Truth, the Void Adaptive Hand Cannon, and I'm not going to go over all the stuff. You guys can look that over and see what you want to grind for, but the Exalted Truth and the Inquisitor, the Arc Precision Slug Shotgun is coming back. Pinnacle challenges, like I mentioned, win 7 games, win 50 rounds. Reputation, base win. Trials rep is 135 to 205. And if you have a trio of players, win or loss, you're getting an additional 25. Clan bonus, you're getting an additional 100 for wins and an additional 50 for losses. And a base loss, you're still getting 60 to 155 points. So it's just like Iron Banner, guys. Just play the game, and you're going to get rep. You're going to get rep, which unlocks all kinds of stuff on the vendor bar for Saint 14. I'm not going to go over any of the other stuff. I told you about Dominion, how they're doing some quality of life changes. I'm sorry. The zone now spawns 40 seconds instead of 30. And it takes 20 seconds to capture, up from 15. So they're changing the Dominion game style a little bit as well. Now they get into fire team based matchmaking, and I'll just say this. Supposedly what they're doing here in a nutshell is they are making it where dual players who play with another friend, are going to start matching with trios. But here's the thing. If you're playing solo and you get thrown into that pool where you're on a team of 2 other players and you're the lone wolf on the team, you automatically get lost forgiveness. So keep that in mind. So if you're playing solo out there and you keep getting bunched up with a team of 2 going up against a full stack, you get forgiveness. So that should give you a lot of motivation to jump in and play solo, regardless of where they're putting in there. But they're reworking a lot of how this is getting done. They're supposedly it's going to encourage more people to play as full fire teams, is what the nuts and bolts of this is. Oh man, there's so much stuff here. They're reworking the skill and player score stat, and this is mainly as far as competitive. I'll just say the opening line here. In Heresy, we've undertaken the task of updating our internal skill rating and adding a new visual indicator players can see to measure performance. While our skill rating is accurate on a macro level, there's a very high chance that a player 50 to 100 skill above another player is in fact a better player. There is room for improvement when comparing players who have very similar skills on a game-to-game basis, and especially when reflecting performance in an objective mode. There are 3 main changes we are making to the way the skill is tracked. They're actually making objectives on par with base kills for points. As it stands now, your efficiency, how many people you kill in a game, adds a lot to your skill level. Kills are still vitally important in any mode, but they're definitely leaning on objective play. So for those of you who maybe aren't killers with weapons, you play the objective to try to win the game, it's going to increase your skill level. We're removing multiple farmable points like damage dealt, revives, and longest kill streak. Well, there goes my ARC buddies. These are not true indicators of skill performance and can muddy the water, but we will still display them as informational stats on the post-game scoreboards. So overall, these changes will be playing the objective more valuable for modes which have them, and allows players who get kills in service of the objective to have more continuous contributions recognized. Sorry, my readers are fogged. And reflected in their skill. Additionally, being able to more appropriately determine how much a player can provide to their team will help improve the accuracy of our lobby balancing systems. So what does all this mean for you? In a very simplified explanation, like it's been simplified so far, right? Our skill effectively works by taking the points you earned each game and comparing them both to your historical average and to the points earned by the other players in your lobby, as well as their historical averages. These results are then run through a modified version of the Glicko algorithm to determine skill gains and losses and interpreted back into our skills values from a scale of -1,000 to 1,000. To better reflect this, we're going to be displaying a new stat called player score on our post-game scoreboards, which is a direct reflection of how many points you earn towards updating your skill rating in a game. On the pre-game banners and Control and Iron Banner Control, the only two playlists where skill is currently utilized in matchmaking, we will also display the seasonal average player score for these modes alongside that of your teammates. While the average player score corresponds to our internal skill ratings, it is not a direct one-to-one representation. In a nutshell, say you're on a team, you're playing solo, and you're playing comp, and you really contributed to the game. Let's just say you had like a 2.8 KDA, but your team really tanked. They just don't have enough hours playing, and they just didn't know what to do. And in essence, you carried the team. You helped them get at least closer to a win. You're going to get rewarded now for that, not just a blanket, well, you lost the game, you get cut points. So they're getting a little bit more into the nitty gritty of how you're playing this game, either objectives or kills. And if you are definitely on the upper side of contributing to your team, especially if you're like solo, you're going to get more credit for it. So that was what I kind of got out of that part. Am I missing anything there, Kingsley? That's pretty much it. I know it's a lot of information, man.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Competitive changes, points rework. They're going, we've heard the feedback that points and gains, losses and competitive, along with the expected rank system, make it feel like you have little agency over your climb, and what you need to do to succeed can be opaque and hard to understand. That is for sure. For Heresy, we have removed the expected rank system entirely and streamlined the points and gains and losses. The removal of the expected rank system means you will no longer are boosted up to the rank that the game believes you are going on. The only way to climb the ladder is by winning more than you lose at all ranks along the way, with some leeway based on personal performance. Like I mentioned, if you're carrying your team and your other teammates just aren't quite cutting it, you're going to get more credit towards that. Wins and losses, they're adding add or remove a base value of 100 points. Performance bonus linked to player score and efficiency. Above average, you're getting +1 to +10. Average, +0, and below average, -1 to -10. This is called a contribution scalar. The scalar modifies the performance bonus and exists to reward players who had an outside effect on their team. There is only one positive effect. The contribution scalar cannot ever negatively decrease your performance bonus before the -10 limit. So I think I've gone a little bit too much into that. So here's what's got me excited, guys. Here's what got me excited. I've been playing with the battle rifle in Crucible lately. I don't even have a crafted one, and it's got snapshot sights and some other perk that makes my I can't remember what it is. I can look it up, but I've been just owning people with this. Well, guess what? Competitive is getting a battle rifle. Look at that baby. It's the second ever PR55 frame pulse rifle, Redrix S-Stock. It has Encore, Lone Wolf, Perpetual Motion, Zen Moment, Offhand Strike, Rhyme Stealer for you PvE out there, Demolitionist also, Right Column, Desperate Measures, Sword Logic, Desperado, Headseeker, that's me, Rapid Hit, Kill Clip, and Headstone. And if you look, they have Headstone and Rhyme Stealer for PvE guys to get that Frost Armor. That's a great combo. And they have an origin trait called Stocks. So I don't know if that means they're having different stocks that they're adding, or if that's an actual new trait. I think it's stocks, like they're going to give you stocks that give you better stuff. New emblems for Ascendant 3, which I will never see. When Heresy Act 2 goes live, we'll be raising the maximum rank cap from 10,000 to 15,000, allowing your elite players to get even higher and stomp on you. Competitive quality of life updates. New logic will prevent the next zone from spawning too near the active zone. I know we've had problems with zones reappearing near a team that's already stomping on you. So they're fixing that stuff. They have something called slow caption collision. It's a new game mode they're thinking about. It's where you're introducing a new option called slow capture collision, which will debut in Crucible Labs and Heresy Act 2. It will be live in private matches starting beginning of Heresy. It's a twist on the existing collision game mode where the zone takes much longer to capture, awards a single point, and then rotates location. So the first team to capture 7 zones wins the game. It's pretty simple. Just capture the zone 7 times. They're reorganizing how the playlist is spread out. I was reading over this, Kingsley, and I didn't really see where it was much different. They're modifying a lot of the quick play stuff. They are going to have 2 different quick play. When Iron Banner comes to town, they're going to have a casual Iron Banner playlist icon and a control Iron Banner icon, which I love because you don't have to toggle it anymore, because I bet there's a lot of new players who never knew that you could toggle the games when Iron Banner comes to town. So some dates for you. Iron Banner Control, 6v6 outlier protection replaces control. Both Iron Banner playlists will be active over the following dates: February 18th, April 1st, and April 29th. The Iron Banner Quick Play Rotator is Tribute, Fortress, and Eruption. That's the one I told you it's off to the side. Trials of Osiris, 3v3 open skill. Weekly performance replaces small team quick play, and the game mode is always going to be Dominion. Crucible Labs, they're going to be bringing in some of the modified quick play modes, and they are bringing hardware and the other one, what was it called? Hardware, and there's another mode about the special ammo. Remember they had a special ammo meter. You could get special ammo.
Know what it's called.
Anyway, there's people yelling at the screen right now. It's okay.
Hey, real quick, on the Iron Banner dates, that's another clue telling us that Frontiers is not delayed. Because if it was, we would probably have more stuff past May.
Yep.
And so it looks like we're still looking for that
That's a
June
good point.
time frame. Yeah.
That is a good point. So I'm sorry to have to bore you with all that information, but the TLDR here is jump into trials and try to play. Just play it, jump in and get your feet wet, and they're gonna adorn you with loot. And if you get lucky and you get on some win streaks, you're gonna get a lot of loot. So and just keep in mind, 7 wins, period, you go to the lighthouse. So if you start out and you get man, that's gonna be so much fun. For people who don't play a lot of Crucible, even, you can jump in there and if you're playing solo, even, you got a 50-50 chance of winning the game. Depends on who they match you with. Usually no within the first round. But even if you get a loss, they're giving so much XP to move that status bar up with Saint 14. Either way, win or lose, you're going to get lots of good gear. And I don't know about you, but I think the Trials of Osiris gear always looks the best. I think it looks very nice, and it's just really cool looking stuff. Future updates. We can't share a lot of details about what is happening in Codename Frontiers timeline, but we are working on several things that we're really looking forward to get into the Crucible. One thing we can talk about is the special ammo meter, which will be making its return completely rebuilt and significantly more tuning levers, and much less likelihood of causing local lag spikes or granting infinite ammo. Why has it taken so long, you ask? Mostly because the new ammo meter is tied to the largest game-wide rework of Destiny 2's ammo systems we have ever done. This has been a massive collaboration between multiple teams, including the Crucible Strike team, engineering activities, armor, weapons, and UI and UX. The new system is shaping up well, and we're excited to get back into the game once it has been completed. We'll have a lot more coming, so for now, we'll see you in the Crucible. That was a lot. I hope your plan's better than mine, because that was a lot, man.
I'll be able to go a little quicker, but the special ammo thing is interesting because obviously they're implying that this is a game-wide change.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of curious why they bring the little tidbit here, but now we're all wondering, what does this mean game-wide, not just Crucible, for the big changes with ammo that's going to be happening in Frontiers,
Yeah, they're really making some strides here, guys, to get people to play more Crucible. So I hope those of you who don't play Crucible every weekend with our group here in Guardian Downcast, Discord. I hope you guys jump in because they've really got some really cool stuff they're bringing out. So, and I'm going to be playing comp every week. I don't care about a shotgun. That's why I haven't played much comp this season, but that battle rifle right there, I will be in it to win it. Definitely be getting that. That is exciting.
I think where this will help, Todd, is, and I don't see this bringing back people that have totally stepped away from the
just
game,
written off. Sure.
I think where this will help is the people that are always considering to play Crucible. For me, this doesn't change the bar at all. Like because rewards are second important to me compared to experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So like I couldn't care less with all this. It's not going to get me in Crucible more.
Yeah.
But for those that do consider Crucible, this is going to get them in more. And as long as the PvE stuff is good also in Heresy, which all indications are it's going to be the better of the three, then this will keep people playing that will consider Crucible. And then I do see this as a good change for people that are diehard Destiny players. I'm sure there may be some people that are maybe upset about the flawless thing, but like you said, it sounds like a lot of streamers are even happy about it and they're diehard players.
Mm-hmm.
So I see this as a good thing that I have no complaints, even though I don't play Crucible a lot. I basically understand what's happening here, and I think they're all good changes.
I like it. I'm excited, and this makes me want to play more Crucible come Heresy. So, yeah. So anyway, cool. That is what we have on our Crucible update, and that was a lot. I know that was a fire hose of information. I tried to read it off as quick as I could because
there's a lot. Yeah,
I could. It's just I can try to. I tried to give you the TLDR where I could, but some of this stuff you just have to read it out and explain it because it is very nerdy stuff sometimes with stats and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot there, and they're making some big changes. And I know Mercules is behind a lot of this because he is one of the new sandbox. I think he's in the sandbox, or I don't know if he's doing play tests.
Sure he's still there?
I don't know if he's still there because he's the one that tweeted this out. He tweeted this out that they've been working on it.
Sorry, I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, I respect Mercules. He's
glad he didn't get let go with all the other people that did.
He's he's into Crucible like I am, and from what I heard, he's a pretty decent player too. So yeah, looking forward to this. So anyway, that is the Crucible update. So let's check in and see what Bungie is talking about in this week in Destiny. But first, I got to take my mandatory bathroom break. Be right back.
Good.
Yeah. That was a lot, man. I'm exhausted just talking about it. And I read it last night. I read it all through, but it's just so hard to explain all the different changes they're making in Crucible without, just kind of reading out in their words what they're talking about. So, do you need to take a break? Are you good?
I'm good to go forward. If you are.
I'm good.
Yep.
All right. I will pass the talking stick to you then, sir. Here we go. All right. This week in Destiny for, almost lost the date, January 23rd, 2025. Yes. I'm exhausted. I got to take a break and drink some water. So I'm going to pass the talking stick over to Kingsley, and he's going to try to explain all of this mega twab that we got this week. Kingsley?
Yeah. There's some really exciting things in here. And what I'm going to do for all the millions of listings of exotic changes and weapons is when we get to each section, I may only spotlight like one weapon, but I'll list all the weapons that are having changes. I'm just not going to list what they are. And if there's anything you want to add in, Todd, you can do that also.
Sounds good. All
right. So they start off with their next developer live stream, which is going to talk about Heresy, of course. And that is the live stream is on Tuesday, January 28th at 10 a.m. Pacific. And for those Eastern people that don't know what that means 1 Eastern.
God's time. That's for Steve. That's for Steve.
But yeah, I'll be checking that out to see what's new with Heresy, and that'll be exciting. And also, of course, everyone watching, they're gonna have another Twitch thing where you can get an emblem. The Scorned Oregon emblem is a Twitch drop, so it's a perfect send off for Revenant.
Looks good.
Also, don't forget the other emblem available at Twitch. called Golden Hour, and these are pictures if you're watching the stream, or check it out in the TWID referencing it. Oh, I just caught those little cactus in it.
Yeah, it's real
Cacti.
pretty.
Kind of fun.
Yeah, I did too. So you just mentioned it. I didn't see it either. Yeah, all you have to do is sub or gift a sub to participating Destiny streamer. It's that easy on Twitch.
Pretty easy. All right. They talk about, check out the stuff that Todd just talked about, all the new PvP and trials experiences. They don't really obviously go over it here in the TWID, but they say check it out.
Yep, definitely. I'll try to forget about it. Okay.
Hey, go back and read it yourself if you care,
It's
or you'll just notice the changes when they come around and you'll be excited.
I may edit some of that in post.
Yeah. Now, I'm really interested for this. They're talking about the content delivery plans for Heresy. And what that means is like how things are coming out. At first, I thought it meant like how we're getting the updates, but it didn't mean that. So basically, and they've already kind of told us this, but here's a little more details. With Heresy, they're going to have a little bit more of a balance, but they are still dropping the vast majority of activities and content on the first day of the act, with said content evolving based on the weekly story. So basically what this means is, in my eyes, everything's going to come out except for maybe like epilogue missions or things like that. But that content you can replay week to week and get more rewards. Basically, they do confirm that each week will feature a seasonal challenge that rewards new gear, a new tier of seasonal weapons. So you don't get those extra tiers unless you replay that stuff a week later. I think this is actually a perfect, it's not even a middle ground. It's still staying on the side of the content comes out right away, but it gives people a reason to come back week after week to replay it. I still didn't like having to wait for more content. Like, if it's there, just give it to us. But there's other people that are like, well, yeah, obviously we don't want to play it the other weeks. And then so now there can be reasons to come back. What's more is that there won't be fixed links for each of the acts like we've had in previous episodes. For example, they're not telling us how long Act 1 is going to be, but Act 2 is only going to be 3 weeks. So this will be interesting. I think there's some surprises coming along the way. Also, with all the stuff Todd was reading about, these changes with Crucible, they're happening in Act 2 also. So it seems like Act 1 might be like a big PvE content drop. Act 2, obviously, there's going to be PvE changes with each act, but Act 2 will be like probably like a big promotion of trials, plus obviously PvE stuff. And then, but it's only going to be 3 weeks for that act. Course trials and all that goodness is going forward in the future. And then Act 3 will have new stuff again. Also, this is another really good change, I think. All reprised weapons for the entire episode will be available day 1 at launch. So you don't have to wait to get certain reprised weapons. Now, the episodic weapons, there will be a second half coming out when Act 2 launches, but they're not waiting to hold even more back for an Act 3. So I think this is awesome. Their goal is to tell an exciting story and pave the way to what's coming. What do you think about this layout of the timeline? Do you like how it is? Or
I like it.
Comments?
I like it, and the fact that they're saying that we're going to give you most of your loot right off the bat for the majority of the part, but we still want you to pace yourself on the story. I think this is the way it's always should have been.
It's not going to be on the story. The story will be all available, but there's going to be reasons to come back.
Right. Repeatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the story. They said all the content, pretty much all the contents. So does content mean activities and not story, or does content mean story also? I guess that's the question. Like, all the actual activities will be there, except for some very minor epilogues and things.
Right.
But it'll be interesting. But regardless, there will be reasons to come back and play it week after week to get a new tier of seasonal weapons.
The only thing I was sad to hear is that I don't see them bringing back crafted weapons for this act.
I thought we already knew that wasn't coming.
I'm just hoping they would change their
Even
mind.
in Frontiers, it sounds like they're
still
deprecating crafted weapons.
Kingsley, I'm still going to pound that drum.
Okay, but it's not coming back until they tell us otherwise. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yep. No, I know it's a good step. I like what they're doing here, and like you said, it's only 3 weeks, so they're not going to stretch it out over 6 to 8 weeks like they used to. So I like this.
Well, just for Act 2, yeah. And then,
Yeah.
so that's got to mean that Act 1 and Act 3 are longer, actually.
Sure.
Because Act 2 is shorter.
They have to set it up, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Now for the craziest part of the TWID, we're going to talk about armor, weapons, all sorts of things. So I'm going to start with some hunter exotic armor. I want to kind of talk about one, but tell everything that's changing. And they are making changes to, you can read all the details, but they're making changes to sealed Ahankara grasps. They're making changes to Guizen vest, or is it Guizen?
Guizen.
It's Guizen. Okay.
That's the way I always say
They're
it.
making changes to renewal grasps, foe tracer, radiant dance machines. I'll get back to that in a second. Spirit of Galanor relativism and Spirit of the Four Tracer relativism. Now with radiant dance machines, has been reworked to allow multiple dodge charges that it grants to count as real dodge charges for the purposes of perks and aspects. The trigger mechanism for granting extra dodges requires more effort to compensate for that, but the overall change is a large increase in strength and utility. We've also added some flat benefits to primary weapons that are a real game changer for players who prioritize gun feel and performance while mobile. So basically it improves airborne effectiveness and hipfire mobility, range, and accuracy for your primary ammo weapons. This could be a crazy great meta change, or sorry, neutral game change. Also, multi-kills with primary ammo weapons refund dodge energy. When dodge energy is full, multi-kills grant extra charges. Powerful combatants and guardians count as more than one kill. So I kind of wanted to spotlight that one. Is there any other exotic pieces here that are interesting to you?
Not so
hunters?
much for Hunter because I don't play a lot of Hunter, but I do realize there's some good stuff out there. But
yep. And again, I'm breezing over this, people. You can always check out the more details in the TWID this week. Okay, next, Titans. They are making changes to Titan's Ramparts. And now I'm going to get back to that one.
Mm-hmm.
They're making changes to Eternal Warrior.
Needs it.
Ursa Furiosa. Yep. Kepri's Horn. And Insurmountable Skull Fort. And the Stoicism Spirit of the Bear and the Stoicism Spirit of the Horn. Now, Titan's Ramparts. It was last adjusted to account for its problematic dominance in PvP, but that came at the cost of its value across the game. See, they're not supposed to be doing this, but there's still times where they make changes for PvP and it messes up PvE. Anyways, in the current sandbox, we found that many of its downsides can be removed safely in PvE. Yes, thank you. Even with the small buff that it gives in PvP without introducing those toxic play patterns.
Yeah.
So what they're going to do is remove these several downsides applied by Assault Barricade to bring it in line with base towering barricade behavior. Cumulatively, these changes result in a towering barricade you can shoot through with no other downsides while Titans is equipped in PvE. So the increased barricade's health goes from 400 to 500, no longer increases barricade cooldown, no longer decreases barricade duration, and further increases damages dealt to Titan's barricades by Guardians from 125% to 160%.
Can't crutch on it.
So, yeah, that's crazy. And then they say this results in near identical effective barricade health in PvP also. Yeah, any comments on the Titan stuff?
I used to use Titans, and when I played Titan in Crucible, and it was great for my fire team because they could all use it to protect an area, like especially like a raised B flag and control and stuff. And yeah, it was crazy strong. And I understand why they dealt it back, but it really did hurt. I mean, people just put it away. Yeah, no one, just because it hurt across all parts of the game. So they're making the correction here. That's what needed to be done. I really wish they could. I don't know why they don't separately tune a lot of these exotics to begin with, but I guess they're learning little by little.
Probably time is one thing.
Could be.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's all I did on it. Yeah.
Warlock. They're making changes to Storm Dancer's Brace, and actually I do want to spotlight that one. Much like Spirit of Galanor, we wanted to tune back how much return energy was given for roaming supers and exotics. To compensate, we wanted to give Storm Dancer's Brace a little love in the potency granted to Storm Trance while you're in super. So okay, I'll tell the details, then I'll give a little bit of commentary. They're going to double the damage benefit per stack of ascending amplitude up to 20% per stack versus 10. That's the thing where when you keep it going, it ramps up a little bit. It'll also reduce the cost of Ionic Blink during Super by 50%. Good. This is annoying because sometimes I don't even necessarily want to use the Ionic Blink while I'm in the Super, but I accidentally do. And then it takes away so much of your Super.
It does.
And then reduce the maximum amount of energy refunded down to 30% instead of 50. I mean, this is going to be the biggest thing, but it kind of makes sense. They really don't like supers that you can get back quickly again. And, you know, they have, remember back when the Skull and the Nova Bomb and way back in the Forsaken days, you can throw a Nova Bomb and get almost back up to 100% again and throw another one. And same thing with this. And so they had to scale both those back to kind of like that 50% of returned energy. But now with Storm Dancer's Brace, they're scaling it down to 30% maximum returned. I mean, my arc build that I have right now, I'm actually using Storm Dancers, and it's a pretty good build. And especially with all, I guess, the other arc changes and great things that are coming, they were probably telling us that this would have been too OP, so they had to bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've never, maybe once tried them, but this is not part of my kit. I don't use Storm Dancers.
Yeah, I know you haven't, but in PV, I'm telling you, it's pretty amazing.
Cool.
And it'll be really interesting to see what it's like coming back. And then they're making changes to Geomag stabilizers.
Thank you.
Secant filaments and Spirit of the Filaments. Speaker's Sight, Verity's Brow, and for exotic class, Spirit of Verity. Any other ones you wanted to spotlight or talk about?
I've always loved Geomags. Back when Chaos Reach was one of my favorite supers, and they of course really hurt it, nerfed it back because of obviously people were getting their supers too much in PvP. That was the main issue. But now it's based on near max bolt charge. Will top it off. So I like that. Starts at 6 stacks of bolt charge. Then re-enabled the visual effects where boots spark while sprinting near max bolt charge. Increases super energy gain from ionic traces from 7 to 7 from 2%. This I might try. It's really,
I might try it too. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest here, man. Prismatic I haven't put it down, man. It's just so, has such utility that even with these changes they're making to some of my favorite exotic armor, I don't know if it's going to be enough to move the needle for me, but I will definitely try them. I'll definitely try and see if it does make a big difference. And I'll try those Storm Dancer's Brace, because I've had it sitting in my vault forever, and I have so many exotics that I've wanted to try and just really never gotten the gist of them. They just said I have my favorites, and but no, on the other ones, not really.
Okay.
Verity's Brow, I mean, it's needed some love too. So, I guess I know we're both weapons.
Things, so we're a little more interested in this, but honestly, like even in this, there's so much to talk about. So whatever you want to spotlight, but at least I listed the changes of all the ones.
That was it.
All right. Going to get to weapons and do a similar thing, but we'll definitely spotlight some things here and there. Now, this I definitely got to read word for word. Huge changes. Aim assistance. All right. With controller input, we've taken a stab at trying to solve an issue where a quickly moving target crossing your vision could pull your aim off of your previous target by introducing a time-based component. Yes, I hate that. I hate that.
All the time.
Yep. We now will weigh aim assist against targets you've aimed at for a short time more strongly compared to brand new targets when a new target is introduced by crossing your reticle. We understand that this is potentially wide-reaching change, but have thus far been satisfied with the results in our playtests. Controller players, please let us know if you encounter any issues as a result of this change. I don't see why anyone wouldn't want this. I guess if you're like a totally new player, and if you're playing far away and you maybe want to you were starting to shoot one enemy, but you're like, well, I actually changed my mind. I want to shoot this other enemy. Then I guess this could be a small downside because it'll be harder to then focus onto that second enemy. But I don't know. Trust me, I think overall this will be a much welcome change.
And is this game wide? It's not on it's going to affect PvP as well. Excuse me.
I don't know.
I'm hoping.
I don't know.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I'll play with it and see because I do play on controller on PC and on PS5. So
I assume it is. And so you notice that in PvP also, there's often where a player
I've had to pull. Yeah, I've had to pull off targets
everyone's
before in PvP. Yeah, I have had that happen before,
cool.
but a lot because you're dealing with mobs of enemies. Sometimes it will pull your controller and you're like, no, I'm trying to do DPS here, not on the stupid thrall, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from there. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. Okay. Read the details here with some PvE damage tuning. They are buffing scout rifles again. And I'm telling you, people, they're already not in a bad spot. Have you played much with the red tape seasonal weapon?
It sounds awesome. It hits hard. But I mean, like I said, I've been playing mainly.
You probably haven't. Yeah.
I've been playing mainly Crucible lately. So I haven't had a chance to use it a whole lot. I've been using rapid fire scout rifles in PvP, and they're working good. They're still strong.
Yeah. Well, and this isn't about archetypes so much as just main classes of weapons. So scout rifles across the board, 15% buff versus minors and 30% versus majors.
That's good.
I love that. I always like scouts in PvE way better than pulses because if you need that longer range with unlimited ammo,
no drop off.
That's what scouts are great for.
Yep, it is. And you can be very accurate
auto rifles.
too.
Yeah, they're very accurate. Auto rifles, 10% versus minors and majors. That may or may not be noticeable. SMGs, 5% versus minors, and here may not be.
People use that. People use SMGs in PvE.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
It's a little bit less used right now, but because they've made a lot of good sidearms.
Yeah.
But a couple years ago, I feel like SMGs were more popular than sidearms.
There's only one. There's only one SMG that I use in PvE, and that's one of the Warmind weapons that the arc one that I have is crafted.
Think about the Recluse too. It's always been a pretty good weapon in PvE.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Not to mention exotics.
All right. And then they also reminding us they increased the base magazine size by 10 to 15%. So that'll help a little bit. Trace rifles, 20% versus minors. This could be pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about trace rifles, right, last week and stuff. So this might get us using trace rifles some more.
The problem is ammo.
Yeah.
The problem for me is ammo. And then
linear fusion rifles, 10% versus all combatants.
I'll take it.
Maybe.
I love linear fusion rifles, especially for DPS. I still am old school when it comes to that. I know everyone's like, why are you still using that? You need to use a Thunderlord. I'm like, I know, but I just love that sound in it when it hits the boss.
Well, it just depends on if you want what maximize DPS or not. But
I know.
But this will be interesting. I mean, 10%. I guess this will have a bit of a difference, a small difference for bosses, but all in all, I don't know how much of a difference this will make. We'll see.
Some of the chat was going crazy over this next one, so I'm curious.
Glaives, yes, glaives. All right, they said it's been a niche weapon. We know it's not niche for everyone. They're going to have a big buff to glaives baseline stats and behaviors. Their intent is that glaives become more agile and need to reload less often. Great. And are effective at longer ranges and more forgiving. All sorts of stuff. They're buffing glaives. They're going to significantly increase aim assist, aim magnetism, damage fall off ranges across the board, all glaives. They're going to improve glaive projectile hit registration. They're going to increase baseline effects such as handling speeds, including the shield ready speed, draw and stow speed, magazine size, projectile speed, reload speed, final hit melee combos.
Double damage.
These things are being buffed with glaives.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. But guess what?
Yeah.
Still not going to use it.
Well,
I'm still not going to use it.
Yeah, again, there might be some crazy meta builds. I don't hate glaives, but but I think I kind of understand what they're doing, but I wonder also if there's going to be something cool with the story or lore, or some cool glaives coming out, also why they're doing this.
Again, if they gave us more ammo for projectiles from them, I would probably consider it. I mean, and I know they're increasing the magazine size, but they'd have to really drastically increase it for me to use them. I usually run out of my projectiles pretty quick, so I don't know. I'll try anything. I mean, melee combo, double damage, that perked my ears up, to be honest.
Yeah,
especially going through ads. Okay.
All right. Aggressive frame fusion rifle. Now they're making changes there. Now, did you let us remind us that there's only one in the game right now, Coriolis Force, issued back in Beyond Light, but there is going to be more coming out. So, some changes such they are going to now fire 3 bursts of 4 pellets. So before they acted more like a shotgun, even though they were a fusion, they just kind of all came out at once. But now it's going to be a 3 burst of 4 pellets. They're going to increase minimum damage when fully outside of damage fall off from 45% to 65%. Increased range fall off start at 4 meters relative to normal fusions. Increased range fall off end at 3 meters. And increased damage versus minors and majors by 15% relative to normal fusions. I don't know if I've tried the Coriolis Force much or at all, actually. Have you?
I just looked it up. I don't have it. I must have dismantled it.
Yeah. I feel like I probably tried it. I'm like, ew, this is a weird feel. And then I just stopped using it.
Wait a minute. Is that the one that shoots a line of bullets? Like a horizontal?
It all comes out at once, like a it's
shotgun. No. I've got to have that. I know I kept this. Hold on. I'm looking up DEM right now. I know I kept this fusion rifle because I had a feeling it would be special one day. Let me pull it up here. I know unless I had vault problems. No, I got it right here.
It's probably going to be hard to get still, and they're making new ones too, is what they told us.
There it is.
So
I got it. Sorry, Kingsley. It's on screen.
It's all right. I mean, there's probably going to be a new one that's better anyways when they talk about the new ones that are coming out. But
I've had fun using this. I've had fun using it. So I'm going to definitely try this.
I'm going to have to try it again because I don't remember how it feels like right now. And then I can kind of compare it. Yeah, I'm sure I've tried that because I had all the weapons for Beyond Light.
I mean, I had the Storm.
But I probably just didn't like it. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I know. I couldn't shoot anything with it in Crucible. That's probably why it's in my vault. But I just had a feeling that they would come back to this one. I'm so glad they did. I definitely, it's the reason I have it here. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's easy to get. Beyond Light's still around. You just go to the Merrick's. And also, again, they're making new ones too. All right. Support frame auto rifles are going to be more supporty. Range now increases how far away you can heal other guardians. That's good. Not much to say about that.
Yeah, this is the support frame auto rifle is, I'll talk about that later. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to talk about it later. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about a build for that
with another topic
feature thing. Yeah.
Yep. Rocket assisted frame sidearms. Unfortunately, they're going to be buffing some more. Basically, they said with the changes they should still remain viable, ammo efficient option, but they still need to be buffed a little or nerfed a little bit, which is a little sad. But whatever. They're going to reduce PvE detonation damage by 45%, but increase PvE impact damage by 100%. So that's good there. But then they're going to reduce. That's kind of like the buff there, but the nerfs are going to be reducing aim assistant fall off and maximum distance by 8 meters, and reduced magnetism fall off and maximum distance by 8 meters.
That's pretty good.
And reduce, this is where I'm saddest, reduce damage by 30% versus boss vehicle and mini boss targets. Buried Bloodline body shot is unaffected, but it'll affect all the other ones. And last, the range stat.
Rip that.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying, rip rocket assisted frame sidearms.
Well, it's not totally rip. I mean, they already did get nerfed once a little bit, and they're still really good. So I think, okay, I'll tell my commentary in a second. And then the last thing is the range stat was vestigial to the weapons subfamily, so we removed it. Range masterworks and enhanced intrinsics will be replaced with something more appropriate. Look, they also, what was the first one that had the beacon rounds or whatever? Is that the one that kind of tracks? That was actually very useful.
Yeah, I got it. That was my first drop in the dungeon. I still have it.
Yeah. I have that too. So, and that's the one I use the most. Actually, I really like my ARC rocket assisted frame sidearms.
Right here, it's so that's the wrong one.
Yeah. So look for that, people. But here's the thing: like you will not have as ease, shooting at distances. However, impact damage will be increased. You will also have reduced damage against mini bosses and bosses, which is a little sad because what I would do is why they were also a really good weapon is because when you run out of your heavy and your super or whatever, it was a no-brainer to swap to them for follow-up damage. Now with them having even less on mini bosses and bosses, it does really actually bring into play fusions again and other weapons or snipers.
Yeah.
Because it used to always be your heavy, and then when you're out for PvE, I'm talking about here, Todd, like with damage and DPS, then it's either sniper or fusion or probably the more common. Sometimes there's things like shotgun if you're really close to the boss or whatever, but those are kind of the options. But with how good the rocket assisted sidearms have been, you can use them as a viable option, but now way less viable for DPS things.
Yep. I think I have one with beacon rounds, and it's
it's the arc one. It's the original one, right?
Yep. I'm showing it on screen now. Yep.
Indebted kindness.
Indebted kindness. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. We'll see.
Oh well. We'll see. Yep. All right. Exotic weapons.
Hey, you know where I'm coming from now.
Yeah.
Reading
I'm gonna
Crucible stuff. It's a lot.
I'm gonna list the names. You let me know if you want to spotlight any of them. I'm gonna spotlight a couple. I'm sure you are too. And maybe we'll probably spotlight the same one. I know which one you're thinking.
I know which one you're going for.
Okay, they're making changes to Lorentz Driver.
Yes.
They're making changes to Delicate Tomb. Darcy, I do want to spotlight this one a little bit. I've always wanted to like Darcy more.
I'm so happy.
And they're taking a stab at, building a better niche for this and a fire team. So they have a new catalyst perk called Networked Targeting. Hits with personal assistant active grant you and nearby allies improved overall weapon performance and precision damage with non-exotic sniper rifles. So it's kind of like the Gallahorn Wolfpack. You have one Gallahorn and then people can use. Yeah, well, one person can use Darcy, and then the rest will get the benefit. So there you go.
Okay.
Also, he gets a 15% damage after granting 5 stacks to a teammate. Has improved recoil, flinch, target acquisition.
It doesn't have any recoil. It's got even better recoil now. I'm loving this. This is my favorite.
Yeah. So you're excited to check this one out?
This was the one I was really pointing toward because I love Darcy. I've always wanted to use Darcy. I've never been able to because they've nerfed the damage to the ground, and you bring it in a fire team playing a raid, and they'll look at you like, put that away, put it away. You're not going to do anything with that thing. So now we got a reason to use it, man. And the fact that we're going to be able to boost all of the other legendary sniper rifles if we're all doing sniper rifle damage to like the Witness. This is going to be great, man. I'm excited about this.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully, in a way, snipers get popular again for DPS stuff. It's always still a excellent choice for Oryx with Whisper of the Worm if you have the catalyst on it. Mostly because it's a huge crit spot, so you can't miss. And it has a great amount of damage.
I just want to say something for our next raid. I'm bringing the Darcy in. No one else can bring it in. I'm going to call it right now. So
there you go. All right. They're making, of course, we were talking about the glaives, so they're making changes to Edge of Action, Edge of Concurrence, and Edge of Intent.
These glaives I like. These glaives I like. Sorry to interrupt. I have used the class exotic glaives. I've been testing all of these, and the one for Warlock is that you have like a healing bubble that follows you around when you activate it. I like the exotic class, the class exotic glaives. So yes, JD Kent, I know you like your glaives. Well, I'm a fan of the exotic ones. I really am, and I'm glad they're making a bunch of changes here to it. So that's all I want to say.
Beacon round glaive, he says.
Yeah, because we can't use beacon rounds on our rocket assisted sidearms anymore because they're nerfed. So that's his workaround. Beacon round glaive. Okay, I'll try it.
All right, they're making changes to Centrifuge and Dead Messenger, Hard Light, and Borealis. Okay, Telesto. Yes. I'm going to talk about this a little bit.
Please. I didn't even see it. I
All right.
Skimmed over it.
Yeah, so they're going to give it a buff that embraces both aspects and ties them together in a single, deeply self-referential package. How do you buff Telesto? Make it more Telesto. So what they're going to do for the main Harbinger's Pulse is now only refills Telesto's ammo from reserves instead of Telesto on your kinetic slot weapon. Now triggers with any void final blow.
Okay.
Final blow requirement increases from 2 to 3. However, Telestal final blows count double. In other words, will trigger from 2 Telestal final blows, 1 Telestal final blow plus 1 other void final blow, or 3 other void final blows. So there's different combinations you can get it to have that. And multi-kill timer increased from 2 seconds to 4.5 seconds. That'll be huge there.
That's huge.
Now, the Catalyst perk. New perk, actually, Harbinger Seethe. After 3 activations of Harbinger's Pulse, which is the main perk, special reload the weapon to cause a rain of Telestal projectiles on your next direct hit.
We are back,
It kind of reminds me. What's that? What's that weird rocket launcher that also rains stuff down from the sky? Remember, you're supposed to shoot it up in the air. Yeah. And kind of like
I know it
seems like
I've used it a few times. Actually, True Vanguard loves to use it in Crucible because he'll get one. You only get one shot in Crucible. He'll just rain it down like across the map, and it's see guys, still got my Darcy right here. I call it the Darcy stays. The rocket is called. I know I have it here.
Now, while you're looking that up, just to confirm on the Telestal, you do need to make a direct hit. You're not going to shoot it above them, but still,
right. Is Deathbringer is the name of that.
Deathbringer. That's right.
Oh my God, I just have to say this too. I played with my Telesto in Iron Banner last week. I had so much fun using it. Telesto is back until it breaks the game, and then I'm going to enjoy it while we have it. So, yeah.
Look, it's been such a meme, and Telesto hasn't had anything broken for quite a while. I think it was just
we're due.
Such a unique weapon that it really did take them that long to figure out all the little ins and outs and intricacies. And sure, maybe some things will be broken now if they're making some big changes, but it's not like Telesto has to be broken just because of it being Telesto, because we've had a period of time where it's been pretty good.
A rain of Telesto projectiles on your next direct hit. This is going to be so much fun to use.
Yeah.
Add more to my stats. Like I got 50,000 kills.
I want to bust out Telesto again, and so now I'll check this out.
Awesome. No one can grief me anymore. I love it.
All right. They're making changes to Excalibur, Wardcliff Coil, the Queenbreaker, the Colony, Quicksilver Storm, Legend of Acreus. Now, I'll spotlight this real quick. Because we were kind of talking about Legend of Acreus earlier. Now they are reducing the spread angle by 33%, but they're increased the maximum projectile range from 12 to 18 meters. This will actually be pretty darn good for hitting targets.
Now that's in PvP and PvE. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess unless they say otherwise, we have to assume.
That's going to be frustrating in Crucible. Okay.
Again, any of these other ones you also want to spotlight, let me know. But they're making changes to Lord of Wolves and Cloudstrike and Thunderlord. Maybe we should talk about Thunderlord a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you like Thunderlord?
Now,
Thunderlord too.
I want to talk about Cloudstrike too, because I want to see what they've done here. Because they really nerfed the Lightning Storm in Crucible. And so what they're saying here is, Okay, Bolt Charge. They're adding Bolt Charge to it. I see what they're doing. Okay. Precision Final Blows generate a lightning bolt at target's location and grants a moderate amount of Bolt Charge. Okay, so just adding the Bolt Charge behavior into the gun. They're still have it at the same amount of damage, though. Okay. Sorry. I didn't read that earlier.
And it's kind of the same thing with Thunderlord with Bolt Charge. Basically, the final blows with this weapon generate lightning strikes from above, and the lightning strikes will then grant a stack of Bolt Charge.
Okay. I did want to mention, too, another weapon that caught my eye here is Quicksilver Storm. Reduce shots required to trigger a rocket by 17%. Now, I'll admit, that rocket's not very powerful, but I remember using this a lot on Neptune, and you could really mow down some yellow bars once those, because those rocket rounds come out pretty quick. I mean, they come out about every third or fourth part of your magazine, maybe even sooner than that. And the fact that they're letting it trigger a rocket even earlier by 17%, that might be a sleeper right there. Quicksilver Storm. Yeah. I know there's some players on our community. They're going to love to hear that. So, okay. So Thunderlord's going to incorporate Bolt Charge as well. Okay.
Yep. Thunderlord also.
That'd be a build. We'll be building into that. Good.
All right, let's go into weapon perks. I'll kind of give the quick details on all these because there's not too much. Destabilizing rounds is going to get a buff.
Good.
It now grants volatile rounds for 2 seconds if any targets are hit by the volatile burst from the initial final blow, and reduced internal cooldown from 4 seconds to 1.5 seconds.
Oh,
so that's pretty big there.
That's big. I love destabilizing rounds for my PvE stuff, and because I love using Void because I'm a Void Warlock, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
That is
right
a good
there.
one. Full Court with Area of Denial grenade launchers now scales the detonation and burn damage of aerial denial grenade launchers, like I just mentioned. Yeah, well,
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Ambitious Assassin removed both multi-kill and reload timers. So basically, you can just use it again.
Wow.
Because you have to use ammo for the perk. So,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, so.
I'll have to test that one. Okay.
Flash counter, reworked to read, taking damage after guarding emits a disorienting blast, and it will no longer require a timed input or melee to trigger, and deals moderate damage in a large cone in front of you, disorienting combatants. I don't know if I use that perk ever, but there you go.
I don't think I have either. Maybe on a sniper? I don't know. No, that would be no, that's under I'll have to look and see what I got on that. It doesn't sound familiar to me.
All right. Next, we're going to talk about weapons coming up and weapons going away soon.
Uh-oh. Kings is getting excited now.
Well, a little bit. I mean, again, rewards are a close second to me, but I still do enjoy them. Anyways, Nightfall. I mean, there's some cool ones here, so I'm excited. In the Nightfalls, we're going to have Lotus Eater, a void rocket-assisted sidearm. So they're kind of telling us they're finishing out. That was like the last of the original elements. We didn't have a void one yet.
True.
And we're getting a strand one too. I'll mention in a moment. So that'll be cool, and it's a cool name, and I might be excited to try this one out. And then we already knew about Palindrome. Mm-hmm. This is big news, big news. Palindrome is my favorite just neutral game weapon in Destiny 1. I got, when they had that, it wasn't the gunsmith, but the maybe it was the gunsmith down in, when you're going down in the bottom part of the tower, you know, that guy to the right or to the left before you get to the table. There was a god roll one week, and everyone's like, you got to get Palindrome this week. And it was such a good roll. Like once I got that, it was just murking all the ads from like super far away. It had really great range, was like the main thing about it. So I'm really excited to see how this feels in Destiny 2.
Especially paired up
with
some of those
new stuff, you know.
Some of those great void fragments and aspects, definitely. I might. No, I'm not. Who am I kidding? But I'll still be able to take advantage of that.
They hit really hard in PvE, actually. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, think of it like you could kill ads quicker most of the time with a hand cannon than a pulse. Mm-hmm. Because hand cannons have pretty good range, especially if you have ones with range perks compared to a pulse. Yep. And they hit hard. You don't have to wait for the da-da-da-da-da-da to
True.
Get, you know, total DPS.
But they balance it with less in the mag, though, or less in the clip, so...
well, not as low as some weapon, not like as low as like a fusion or a shotgun or things like that.
No, not like that. Yeah, but yeah, no, I get it. I've never been drawn to shotguns and hand cannons in this game.
Yeah, but they do have a place in PvE for sure at times. And then in Vanguard Ops, I was really excited about this one because when I saw the name and I mentioned it in the Discord.
Now we know what Sin's been up to.
After Sin. The Cynosure. I assume that's how it's going to be pronounced.
Cynosure.
Cynosure. Yeah, probably Cynosure or Cynosure. Probably Cynosure. Everyone tag Sin and tell him you're excited to see this weapon.
Yep, definitely tag him.
And this is going to be a strand aggressive rocket launcher. So kind of filling out one more. Well, this is a rocket launcher, not a rocket side.
It has reconstruction. Reconstruction is big for rockets.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yep, some great perks. Yeah, I'm not going to go over all the perks. You can check it out in the TWID. In Gambit, Backfang and Arc Rapid Fire Glaive.
Oh, JD Kent.
All right.
There you go. Time to play some Gambit, bud. Me.
Yeah, they are going to
I
have to tell us
kid.
something about Gambit sometime soon. Actually, I don't know if I want to make a bet, but I give it right now a 30 to 50%, no, 30 to 40% chance that they actually are going to be doing some things with Gambit and Frontiers. Because they kind of have to at this point. Like, why even still have Gambit around if they're not going to do anything with it,
They still have a player
even in
base.
Frontiers?
I mean, I played Gambit this last season because of a weapon. For me, it's rewards. I'll play Gambit if
I
I.
know, but it has to be more than just the weapon too. Like,
Yeah.
if they never bring any other maps, or even Crucible, they haven't done that as much as people want, but at least they've done some with Crucible. Gambit hasn't had hardly anything done with it,
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And in Crucible, the new weapon's going to be the Yoxers longsword, however you would pronounce that.
Void Heavy Burst. Okay.
Yeah, Void Heavy Burst pulse rifle.
I love that Bungie is giving love to us pulse rifle users. And I know we're gonna hear the complaints, and I know I can hear from Jimmy already that they don't ever give us good sidearms or good hand cannons, or
There's lots of good hand cannons
no,
historically.
but what I'm saying is, as far as the seasonal weapon, the one you can get from
the seasonal, the new stuff. Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like for a while we were getting hand cannons, so I don't care what we really get, but
it's gonna be a fun season.
Yeah,
fun season.
All right, and they're reminding us on weapons leaving soon. So in the Nightfall, the Undercurrent, it's the last week coming up soon. And, Trials of Osiris, the Prophet. You have 2 weeks on that. Iron Banner, of course, that's finishing up right here. Reese Walker and Lethal Abundance are going away.
Just wanted to mention on the Yoxers Longsword Heavy Burst Pulse Rifle, for you PvE players out there, since I'm not the PvE guy, it does come with repulsor brace and destabilizing rounds. So there you go. Build into that void life.
But lots of weapons do that might be better than a pulse for those perks.
And it's heavy burst, a void heavy burst, which means, ooh, that's a 2-shot. Ooh, I like 2 shots. Okay.
I think what helped too is ever since they made some faster firing scouts and they have the automatic firing, and that scouts can go so much further in PvE.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see much ever of a reason to use pulses unless it's something like, of course, Outbreak, like a special pulse or something. But I just feel like scouts are almost always better than pulses in PvE.
I don't understand. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place here. I don't understand why they're getting rid of the Prophet. That's a fairly new weapon in Trials. Get rid of one of the older weapons from Trials. Why are you getting rid of that scout rifle? I don't understand why they're getting rid of that rifle among other stuff out there that's been around forever, it seems. But all right, whatever. Reese Walker, I'm not a shotgun user. Lethal Abundance. I know that it's the thing about Iron Banner is I've got all my weapons there. I've got good rolls and stuff, so I'm good. Well, for the most part. Yep. So, yeah.
All right. They remind us that Game to Give has officially kicked off. I saw some talk about that today, so definitely check it out. And new donation incentives to earn. They're introducing some sweet new rewards. There's this Dark Hero emblem, which looks all right.
I like it.
There's a Maximum Heart emote, which looks cool. There's a Caped Crusader Sparrow, which looks all right. Ooh. And the Emblem Vault is back, giving you a chance to snag some returning fan favorites from past campaigns. So there's something for everyone. Just check it out.
Yep.
And they mention, I won't go through all these, but if you give certain amounts, also like huge amounts you can give, like if you give like over 1,500 and above, you get like this really amazing emblem. So check out all the rewards if you want to see how much you want to give.
Keep in mind, I think that's what they're saying here. This is a lifetime donations level, by the way.
Ooh,
so
okay.
250. Yeah. This is probably one of the best emblems I've ever seen from Bungie. This is beautiful. The color, the shading. And so if you've donated $250 over the life of Game to Give, then you might qualify for this. I don't think I've hit quite that yet, but some of these are crazy, man.
They are. And it brings up an interesting point that these 3 emblems right here have quite a different look and feel to them. When we were talking about some of these other emblems, like, the comp, if you hit really high comp rank, you get this cool emblem and stuff. there's so many emblems to me today that look very similar to other emblems. How will people even know like that's the elite comp ranking emblem? Like I certainly won't know or care, but I guess the comp people will. But the thing about at least these emblems, getting back to this point, is these are so unique and different that if someone were to see these, they'd be like, what the hell is that? Where did you get that? Because it's so much different.
I mean, $1,500, that is a lot. And probably, I'm guessing some major streamers will probably get these emblems. I don't got this kind of money. I mean, these are beautiful emblems. My argument would be why don't we see these emblems in the game more for really special stuff, which ties into my topic. So I'll just be quiet.
Yep. And then there's a new charity donation thing for the Los Angeles wildfires. You can give support to there, and there's a T-shirt you can get, and an emblem, which looks amazing. I grew up in Southern California. I'm going to get this for sure. Kind of similar to the Maui wildfire thing from a few years ago, but this looks amazing to me.
Yeah, I'll probably get this too.
This emblem.
Yeah, especially you being out west. Yeah, nice.
Love my palm trees. All right. The bundle will be available for $50 basically, which includes the shirt, the emblem, and the shipping. I'll still probably donate it because my wife, I don't like the Bungie shirts as much compared to my my woven shirts, but my wife likes getting them, and then I like the emblem, so definitely donate there.
Yeah, the hurricane relief shirt I got, and it's well made. It's not just they're not just mass producing junk. It's really well made T-shirt. So, and the print is really good too. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Their latest Bungie reward is here. They have a cool new disc plate. This is the Fickroll thing, which I still really like. I got to move my office around sometimes, so I might actually stop doing green screen behind me. But one of the only disc plates I ever bought was, I did the Pantheon and got that whole thing done. And so I'm like, I got to buy that thing. And actually, you could buy that even without getting Godslayer title. But these disc plates are actually really good quality. So I highly recommend that if you think that looks cool.
It does look good. And it gives that 3D effect too when you hang it on the wall. It's really nice.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
More Skorgan tunes. These are amazing. I clicked on the one for Saint Shady. That's Slim Shady that they played.
Look at these.
Oh my gosh. These are great. There's a Captain Jack Sparrow one. This is one thing that they added in also that it's quite good, even though again this episode in general hasn't been the best and it's the lowest population ever. But people, check out the Skorgan, check out these songs and go up to it if you want and try to make some melody on it.
The Tetris theme, oh my god, that'd be in my head all night if I even played that. Oh Canada, really? Oh my god. Regicide, that's a great song. I like it, Matt. I'm telling you, we got some creative people in our community. I'll tell you, it's amazing.
Yep. And there's some new emblems for new and current movie of the week and artist of the week winners. So you can check out these emblems.
So good.
In the TWID, one's called Prismatic Vaporware, which has this cool triangle. And then there's an Artifacting Signal, which is kind of like a de-resed looking
looks good.
one.
Yep.
Player support report.
The list is getting smaller.
It is. They had an update Tuesday, right? That fixed a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So I am impressed. They did a pretty good job. One point I wanted to make about that too, and I was going to mention in the Discord, but I didn't. But I'll mention it now. Is a lot of times people will complain that, and I do want to back up real quick and say yes, we are having more issues probably because less quality assurance. But I'm moving now to the point of fixing issues. Remember how people always complain, oh, they only fix issues when they're taking a gun away or something that makes people OP, but then other things they take longer to fix. I'm like, I was always telling people, no. The reason why they can do that is because it's built into the game to turn weapons off quicker.
Right.
That is something you can do instantly, and other things actually take some time to fix. But a good example of something that they fixed pretty quickly was the thing that we were talking about a little bit. Remember how I mentioned with the bento boxes where don't get rid of one, it might mess up where you can never get it again.
I think it was on the first day.
They fixed that pretty quick.
Yeah, I think it was like later in the day.
People, they can fix other things really quick. You just have to be you have to remember that some things they can fix quick, other things they can't. It depends if it's server side or client side or a mix of both, and that's why some things take longer to fix.
And it's a limited.
It's not just fixing things that they want to take away from you.
It's a limited time event too, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's true.
They got to jump in there and fix that stuff. It's a priority. Yeah. Okay. We have our artist of the week here.
Artist of the week looks cool, but movie of the week. That is back to what I was talking about earlier in the show, where the new meta way to defeat Skolas is super easy, so you don't have to worry about the little bubbles coming into him to reheal him. Is you put a Titan bubble over him, and all three go in with Legend of Acreus, and you can one phase him super easy.
And it's not even been buffed yet. Nice.
And this is funny because how often is Bungie given us kind of the cheat code, let alone, I mean, yeah, it's not like they never want to tell us stuff, but not only that, but it's movie of the week. They're basically telling us, hey, this is the easy way to defeat Skolas.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I wanted an excuse to use Legend of Acreus. It's such a fun rifle and it sounds so good when you use it.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, that's pretty much it. The Twid. Anything else you want to add into that?
I think you covered it, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Speed.
Yeah, now I can save my voice so I can get to our topic of the week tonight. So I'll just be honest. It's going to be a monologue. I've had a lot of thoughts on this topic, and Kingsley, I definitely want to hear your take on this as well. So we'll get to that right after this. Hang in there. Hey, I need to use the bathroom real quick. How about you?
Sounds good.
You good?
Yeah, I'll come back in a minute or two.
Yep. All right, Chad. I'm gonna put on a we'll be back screen just real quick. I need like 2 minutes. That's all I need. Be right back. Kingsley to get here. We will get into our topic of the week. I saw your message, JD Kent. I would love a gun game. I had so much fun playing gun game in my Call of Duty days. It was always a fresh game. Do you remember when you would actually wager if you'd win or lose a game? Remember the wager matches? They would get so ugly playing Call of Duty, but I remember those times too. Call of Duty always had some really cool game types out there. But yeah.
All right, I'm ready whenever.
All right, here we go. I think I'm set here. All right, let me just get a quick drink. All right. I think we are set. All right, here we go. All right, for our topic of the week, Bungie has seen its player base drop to its lowest levels this season and probably ever, I think ever. And a lot of the community has been crying out to either release a remastered Destiny 1, which, to be honest, I'd be cool with that. Or what I've heard a lot lately is for Bungie to just create and release a Destiny 3 game. Aside from the fact that Bungie has already stated that they're not working on another Destiny game, a lot of the community has publicly stated that we just need to do a, quote, hard reset and just release a Destiny 3. So that got me thinking, when it comes right down to it, at its core, why have players become less interested or burned out on Destiny 2? I mean, I had to ask myself that question because if you look at my Destiny wrap from last year, my playing time suffered greatly once I finished the campaign on Final Shape. Not to mention its longest video game I've ever played. I'm going on year 11 now. So after racking my brain all week on this topic, I have some thoughts on this. And Mike, again, I'm curious what you think as well when I put out my argument here. Our friend of the show and one of our community mods, Hammercrasher32, shared a YouTube video made by a Destiny creator, and it got my wheels spinning. And no, I'm sorry, no tinfoil hat speculation tonight. If that's what you came to hear, for me to spout more speculation, I'm sorry to disappoint you. But the first thing I did was I went back and watched that 2022 Game Developers Conference, where the head of Destiny back in 2022, Justin Truman, was talking about how they took Bungie from a one-product game developer to a mindset of a live service studio. And of course, the one thing everyone remembers from that speech is what? Over delivery, right? We can't over deliver because it creates patterns. That was their biggest fear. It's been repeated a million times and probably memed even a million more on the interwebs out there. But this time what I did is I watched the entire 1 hour speech, and it really stripped away the exterior brand that is Bungie. And I was able to kind of get into the reasons why they developed the game the way they did since Destiny 2 was released in 2017. I'm not going to go over the entire video, and I can post a link in the show notes if you all want to go back and watch it. But there were several points along the way that got my attention. The first thing that got my attention, I didn't even realize this, that is back in February of 2018, player sentiment was so bad and the player numbers dipped at a rate that they did the math. They said basically in 5 weeks, if things continued the way they were, Bungie was going to have to shutter up the studio and close down Destiny 2. That's how close we were to Destiny 2 not even making it into 2019, which ironically is when we started this podcast. Something happened that reversed that trend. Once reality set in that something had to change or it was all going to go away. So the studio, whose mantra at the time, or their motto you could say, was make games we want to play, right? I think a lot of us has heard that or seen that in the past. But they changed their philosophy and shifted to, we create worlds that inspire friendship. And most of you know what happened next. The major upswing and rebirth of Destiny 2, starting with what I think was the turning point of this entire game franchise, and that was Forsaken. I remember on day one, when I eagerly downloaded the update right at reset, so much of the game had changed that I would just sit there staring at all this stuff flashing at me. And for the first time, I was stunned. There was so much stuff to do after hours and hours in the previous expansions of grinding boring patrols and collecting materials, and it's stuff I sometimes do today to pass the time. I remember the Mercury map, the Curse of Osiris, remember Warmind on Mars? I had done everything and there was nothing more to do. Bungie back then would release an expansion, and by week 2, Most of us had burned through all that content, all of that hard work that they did to create more worlds for us to play in. It was just shallow, inconsequential, and not very rewarding gameplay back then. But as a Destiny fanboy, I kept myself busy, and probably why my backlog of games is so immense today. Forsaken created so many new systems in the game that it felt like a true hobby, something that I could chip away at before heading off to work in the morning, and then working late at night, chipping away at it some more before I went to bed. I miss those days. Other systems like the Triumph score and titles and being able to swap out anything you needed with Spider at the Tangled Shore was awesome. It gave us hardcore players something to do. And it also gave the more casual players a really good storyline that stirred up even the most casual of Guardians. That awesome story where Cade gets ambushed and is killed by an arrogant, awoken Prince Uldren, which I already hated from Destiny 1. And then you discovered his posse of enemy characters that surrounded him at the very end. That story got me so pissed that I was ready for that next step, ready to kick ass and start taking out these criminals. Each had a backstory in their own piece of the Tangled Shore where they were hiding and you could hunt them down. And over a myriad of mission steps in between. And when you were done with that storyline, another brand new world opened up with probably one of the most difficult raids ever in the game. The Dreaming City was huge, had tons of mystery and exploration. Little mini games were everywhere. And sometimes you would just accidentally bump in and discover them while you're just running around looking at everything on the Dreaming City. Destiny kept at it. Witch Queen was very similar to me to Dreaming City, and Two Truths and a Lie is still my favorite little mini game in the Throne world. For those of you who haven't played or don't know what I'm talking about, just talk to any of our Guardians and our members in our Discord, and they'll tell you where to go to play that game. It's still a fun game to me. For the sake of this topic, let's just write off Lightfall as them buying time for the final shape. I'm willing to give them a pass on Lightfall, even though it was definitely rushed and maybe was kind of the odd one out when it came to any of the stuff they were releasing after Forsaken. But for when Final Shape did come out, which for me is the pinnacle of content, today I still have a bunch of little things I still got to do in the Paleheart to finish up some stuff. So going back, follow me here. So going back to that not Guardian Downcast, that Gamer Developer Conference video, their philosophy was first to gain back the player's trust. Then second, create worlds to build player retention. And lastly, recoup the revenue as an income model. I think Bungie needs to go back and remember this philosophy. Lately, there's been more bugs in the game than usual. Cheaters continue to spoil games in Crucible, and the content loop just feels very reminiscent of those Curse of Osiris and Warmind days. The episodic content has become so formulaic and repetitive, and in Revenant, the tonic system was so convoluted that I just didn't care. And I just played the parts of the game that interest me, and a lot of it was just playing Crucible with my friends. You know, things I can chip away at and get better at with my hobby. Bungie doesn't need a Destiny 3. Hell, if that is our only hope, you better find something else to play for the next 5 to 6 years, because that's what it's going to take to make a game like that. I used to be with the quote hard reset crowd, but what the game needs is a revamped set of systems that make playing Destiny fun again. They've already mentioned a new portal system where we can jump in and play a quick activity and then jump out, whether we're in a group or whether we're doing it solo. And the rewards, if they're exciting enough, I think it'll probably be good. I think it'll probably do okay. They've also mentioned a new non-linear storyline and mysteries in this new world, like hidden doors and puzzles. And that, again, that sounds fun to me. But there's two things that drive me as a veteran Guardian in this game. The first is to value the player's time. And with the sweeping changes they're making to Trials of Osiris, I really believe this is a good first step in the right direction. No one wants to play Trials all weekend and get nothing for their time played because they got stomped by better players. The accumulating point system that they're putting in place, I believe, will invite lesser skilled players who are more intimidated by trials and give them a reason to play the game, learn to get better, but also get rewarded for their time played. I like Iron Banner, but there's some changes that need to be made there as well. I've heard nightmares of how Guardians played all week, never getting the rolls for those Iron Banner weapons they're looking for. All the more reason there should be a crafting system where you can gain enough engrams from playing Iron Banner and turn them into a weapon frame. And once you get enough of them, craft the weapon like so many other weapons can be acquired. Farming engrams at 25,000 glimmer a pop only to get the same 5 rolls, to me, is not fun. Better systems, like the example I just mentioned in Iron Banner, need to be in place for those of us that care about getting that perfect weapon for us. You know, so we can jump back in and kick ass and have fun playing the game. I've mentioned a bunch of better systems in past episodes that would make the game fun to play and even more, give you a reason to play. An example of this would be a collection systems whereby I can 3D print any gun or rolls that I've already unlocked in the past. That would reward us Guardians that have played the game for a long time and have gone through so many weapons that we can't even store them anymore. Or my ultimate pet peeve is not having a continued season pass bar. Once I hit that max level, there's really no reason for me to play, as the rewards from Bright Engrams only give you a boring legendary ghost or sparrow or ghost projections or a ship that I earned 6 years ago. It's laughable. So what do? We hoard bounties. That'll give us XP to unlock future rewards for the next season pass bar. How about an enhanced Guardian rank where we can show off seasonal emblems? How about special shaders for reaching certain triumph scores and not just static colors? How about something animated? Bungie has mentioned a revamped armor system coming in Frontiers. How about a special set that unlocks when you reach Guardian rank 10? The aspect and fragment system was a major change for Destiny 2, and it allowed Guardians to be more creative when putting together potent builds for whatever game activity they like to jump into. Prismatic subclasses were a major shift in systems for Final Shape, where we can mix and match our favorite parts of light and dark abilities. I still haven't used anything else. I do wish they would continue to build on that system by adding more aspects and fragments. The individual subclasses to me are so limiting, and in my opinion, that's the old Destiny game. I've already mentioned the subscription model for 2 weeks now, and make everything in Eververse earnable in game. That is what I call an upgrade in content rewards, and that will get me more excited to play Destiny 2 again. We don't need a new game. We just need to have that feeling that I experienced in Forsaken nearly 6 years ago now. New and better systems, engaging worlds, and more importantly, a new storyline that gets us pissed off and someone to hunt down again. I have zero interest in hunting down 3 little echoes from a now defunct witness. I don't even know. I don't even get why we should care. But maybe Heresy will change my mind. Who knows? And from the stuff we've talked about, the changes they're going to make going into Heresy, I'm a little excited. But that's what I had to say tonight, Kingsley. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, but I wrote this out a couple nights ago, and I was a little passionate about it. And I really want this game to get back to that point where we had so much fun playing it.
Yeah, the thing that I feel like might be muddling the conversation a little bit, and again, I'm going to go with this as a caveat because we know that there are no plans for Destiny 3 right now, but pretend that there could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
The things you say are true. We need better systems, but that doesn't mean because we need better systems to not do it with Destiny 3. The thing is, and streamers are starting to show this also, you can't get as many better systems unless you make a new game. So we will have more better systems with the Destiny 3 than we will with just the Destiny 2. For example, I gave the example a couple weeks ago of if you wanted to totally redo the way we do loot, like how it just drops randomly in the middle of a strike from ads and
Mhm.
gives you the titles on it, and way how like Path of Exile or Diablo works. They can't build that into Destiny 2 at all because it would break things with previous stuff that just wouldn't work when you're like gating certain missions. You're not supposed to have too good of rewards too early on and stuff like that. So the sky's the limit. There are, you can make all these really great systems for Destiny 2, but you can make more great systems if you do a brand new game. So that's why I definitely think we still need a Destiny 3. Plus, if you're just talking about new stuff, when I talk to people a lot, like some of our friends, I won't mention any names, one big reason why they left is because you can't change enough anymore now that the game has been out for this many years. An example is Forsaken seemed really dramatic when it came out, but Final Shape, by all regards, had just as many cool new things to do, changes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that excitement only lasted 1 to 3 months, depending on the player, compared to Forsaken, because even though there's these new things to do and changes, they're still not like as dramatic as early on in the game, because you can only change things so much with the systems we have in place. And I would dare say I liked Final Shape better than Forsaken, but of course Forsaken is a really good expansion. I'm not putting any shade on it. So yeah, of course we need better systems, and I hope they make better systems. The thing about the bugs and stuff you mentioned is we're still in a hard spot. We know they're not making Destiny 3, and we know that Destiny 2 won't get that much better unless they can put pauses on development, even minor pauses, or hire more employees. Unless they can do one or both of those things, we are still going to be getting a lot of bugs. Even if Frontiers is good and they have a lot of cool new systems, more than we were expecting, I'm guessing people will be excited for a couple months again, and then we'll be back to the same conversation a couple months after that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we still need a Destiny 3 and or a blend where Destiny 2 takes longer breaks between the expansions and or hire more studios.
Yeah. Allocate had a couple important comments here. As far as the going from free to play to a subscription within a game, she believes it will drive away players. Either subs are needed from the beginning or not at all. And I know you're referring to World of Warcraft there because they started out with that model. We discussed this in the last 2 episodes because the first time we talked about it, Kingsley, people were like, well, wait a minute, but you can't do this and that. And there were reasons why. We talked about it again shortly after in the next week, because there were certain caveats that had to be in place. And I think Amazing Taco King even brought this up. It's kind of what started the conversation. There were certain things that had to be made, and it had to be major shifts and major changes. But think about it. If you go back to the early days of Destiny 2, when they really needed to shake things up, their player count was dipping and they were really worried about, having to close the game up, which I never knew that they were that close. They were releasing very much like episodic content right now. They would release enough content and storyline to get you through maybe a couple weeks, and that's playing moderately. And
Yeah.
But when Forsaken came, and all of a sudden you can earn, instead of the Grimoire score, I know it's hard to go back that far, but think about, my Grimoire score was important to me. In fact, I had an emblem that would show it off whenever, and I think I kept that emblem on for a lot when I played Destiny 1. And going into Destiny 2, a lot of people in our community even were very prideful of their triumph score. And there were some that actually would complete everything. I'm thinking Alana in this case, that made sure that she got every Grimoire score, every triumph score, every challenge done. And things like that really drove engagement for our hardcore players out there. The problem is now, I don't know about you, I can't speak for you in this, but titles just aren't as important to me anymore. And I don't think it's not because I don't want to do them. It's just that I don't get anything really for doing it. You know what I mean? Having a number or a title above your head and a number, maybe that was exciting back when Forsaken arrived and a little bit after Forsaken when they added that. But today, it's not very special anymore. And I'm thinking if they, instead of having titles, or if they keep titles, how about an emblem that goes with it? You know, or when you reach that Guardian rank 11, when you have to solo a dungeon, which not a lot of people can do.
Have like Godslayer has an emblem and a title, so that one's pretty cool.
Exactly, but I mean, they have done it in certain cases, but for the most part, I dropped all the way down to veteran. I'm Guardian rank 6 because I just don't. It just doesn't motivate me to play to get those ranks. I got up to rank 10, and I just didn't really want to try to. I really didn't want to try to grind to get to do a solo completion. I knew I would eventually. I could do it. I think I had the skill set to do it, and especially if I had my builds just right, I definitely could do it. But I just know how much repetition I would have to put in to get that Guardian rank 11. And to be honest, it really didn't look much different than 10, and I actually like the name of 10 better than 11. But my point is, if you go back to those early days of Destiny 2 and saw how much they changed the game, kind of like a King's Fall moment in Destiny 1, where they just totally changed the rules. They totally changed the game. That is what they're going to need to do. And I really hope that that's what Frontiers is going to do, even though I know it's less content. But if they have systems in place that make us want to play the game more, especially, appealing to the more casual players and the more hardcore players, or the more dedicated fans that have been here forever. And it really doesn't take a whole lot. I mean, how hard is it to extend the season pass bar and have prestiges in this game where you can actually have, in Call of Duty, you get an emblem and you get an icon every time you prestige, and you have to give up everything in the game and start from scratch. All your weapons that were loaded with skins and all kinds of cool stuff on them, you have to hit the reset button to prestige and start over again. But because those emblems and icons that people can see when they're in lobbies playing Call of Duty, saying, oh man, this guy's hardcore. That's what drove a lot of players, and still drive a lot of players, to play a game that's even older than Destiny. So there's systems I think they can put in place, especially to show more personality in this game and more flair. And I just think they've just fallen flat there. And think about it. If tomorrow, if Bungie says, you know what, we've unlocked everything in Eververse, anything you like in Eververse, we're going to start giving you more bright dust for everything. If you're something you get from Eververse and you don't like it, you dismantle it. Guess what? You're going to get a little bit of glimmer, and you're going to get a little bit of bright dust in return. They're going to refund you stuff that you didn't want, or you already have, or don't care about, and maybe save it up to get that one really cool exotic ship that you've been looking at. If they did that tomorrow, I guarantee you the player counts would drastically go up, because there's a reason to play the game again and get either cosmetics or flair or something to show your skill in the game. I don't know. And I think adding more to the prismatic, when they talked about adding these new arc subclass improvements in Heresy, they really didn't move the needle for me, because I can't use it. I can't use it in my prismatic subclass. And yeah, you can say prismatic's overpowered. A dummy could use it. Whatever. But if you look at a lot of these seasonal artifacts, it's like you got to jump on one foot and do rapid fire hits to the enemy at the same time and do this and that. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to shoot stuff and get something to some perk to activate. Like any game you play out there, even Prison of Exile 2, you get passive stuff that kicks in once you reach a threshold or once you build it up enough. The little things like that in the game could go a long way. So this is kind of my mindset when I was writing all this out.
Yeah. And then the one thing I didn't respond yet, you were asking why people left. Like, I really don't think the majority of people that left are because of issues like, the season pass bar and all these things. It's just because it's all the same old after amount of time. Unless you're a new player to the game, it's hard for them to change enough, again, without making a whole new game, to make it interesting. Sure, there's and in the titles, they're not interesting anymore. You would have to have a whole new system like of that, but it's also the content, the worlds, the environments, the weapons. Like they make 5 new seasonal weapons. Why do we care? We already have 1,000 other good weapons in our vault.
Yeah.
It's like, so if we were to like pull like all the people that left, I feel like, and I could be wrong, the majority of them left because it's same old in Destiny. And if they mix things up a lot, that kind of can get some people back and get some people interested for a few months, maybe. But there's no way they're going to stick around as long.
You're saying it's
make a whole new thing.
You're saying we've been playing so long that
they can't change enough to make it
our expectations are just too high.
Yeah. And it's not like I'm not saying like, oh, we're spoiled or anything. Like, it's just any game can be this way. Like World of Warcraft, they actually put lots of new content in, like with expansions each time. That's what I mean. Like, unless we can have a final shape Forsaken level thing that's coming out every single year, which is impossible. It's like, I don't think we have any hope of keeping this game going long term that'll keep it interesting enough. Because I feel like a lot of people, I'm not going to say the majority, but a lot of people like to experience new things.
Oh, of course.
And that doesn't just mean weapons. So they can't change enough. It's all same old. Like when they're changing things, they're reusing assets. They're just adding on to subclasses we already have.
Yeah.
They added a new subclass, Prismatic, and that's amazing. And people use it. But even that coming out in 2024 is not as dramatic as like when they first added remember in Destiny 1 they add the third subclass to all the things. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the craziest thing in the world. So it's like, as you go on year after year, the same amount of change is less impactful as earlier in the life of Destiny. So it's almost like they have to do more now to keep people interested than what they had to do in the past.
Another thing that I think Bungie needs to do, and they suffer from their own short-sightedness, you could say, in this, is they're so worried about everything being overpowered. They need to just let us go crazy and have fun playing this game. And then, yes, I understand they have to increase the levels of the enemies to offset that stuff. And if Prismatic is getting overpowered, then start tuning it. Start tuning it back. You guys do it all the time in Crucible. If someone's using a weapon that's just way overpowered, you start to tune it down until it becomes more of the mainstream weapon. I'm not saying, that Prismatic, and maybe that's the reason why they haven't added more to Prismatic, is they thought they've unleashed a crazy subclass that can really crash the game or break the game. All they have to do is just adjust that stuff in the future. But I think the thing I see, and I look at these new artifact perks coming out, I see the things that they're bringing out, and from season to season, it seems like they're getting more and more safe because they're so worried that they're going to have to come back and detune stuff afterwards. It just seems like a lot of the perks are so conditional. Like, I'll give you an example. The new seasonal perk that just came out for Revenant, where when you get so many precision kills, it rains down like void globules, from the sky. But people tested it. It only lasts a second. And it does very little damage. So what is Destiny afraid? What is Bungie afraid of here? Let us get some. I mean, I remember you remember the in Witch Queen, you remember the what was it, the void wells that would seek, you can collect them, and you would become volatile and just really mess things up as you're going through on a lot of these activities on the throne world. Man, I miss those days. When I heard they took the wells system away, I really was upset because I had so many fun builds where I could just go crazy, just annihilating stuff and feeling powerful like a guardian, Today it feels more like Guardian Light. It just feels like they're so safe when it comes to adding new perks and stuff to this game. And maybe that's a testament to how much the skill creep is accumulated over the time of this game. But I still think that they can bring in some major shakeup systems out there like they did with Forsaken. And if you look at where Destiny 2 has come from where it was to where we are now, it's not even the same game almost. They've evolved. It's so many different things in this game. But I understand I understand where you're coming from, Kingsley, because you're more of, I want more story. I want more worlds to discover. I want to look and want to discover stuff. I want to find out stuff. I want to solve puzzles. And I agree. That
all new weapon, nothing back. Yeah.
Yeah. No more reskins. I get that too. Yeah. JD Kent, I love Warmind, and I found out about Warmind cells when it was too late, when they took it away after I was having fun using it finally. Were you going to say, Kingsley?
And on the point about being overpowered, I don't necessarily agree with that either, because I think we're pick and choosing a little bit. Like back then there was good perks and bad perks, and now there's also good perks like beacon rounds, and there's bad perks. You can't have only all good perks. You got to have some lesser perks too. And there are a lot of builds that you don't want to try that are actually pretty amazing, like on Arc and other subclasses.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, I mean, maybe there were a few more better perks in all, but it's not like there's not powerful builds these days. There are things that are broken and really powerful still all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe they get changed a little bit quicker because the development cycle can be changed a little bit quicker these days than in the past.
Well, like I said, I had to get those thoughts out, and I'm sorry it's always a monologue when I discuss this stuff, but I love that's my system. That's my system, because what I'll do is I'll just start writing. I just write I'm just a conscious writer. I'll just start writing stuff out, and I'll write it out just the way I talk about it. And yes, allocate. I agree. Change is needed. Yes. But a massive shakeup is better with a new title. I don't know if I agree with that. That was kind of the whole basis of my topic tonight, is I don't think we need a new game. What if they released a Destiny 3 tomorrow? Would it really change much? I mean, what are they going to do?
It has to. That's the point. Like, just like how they have to make Destiny 2 better with lots of changes, they would have to make Destiny 3 better with even more changes.
If they don't come out with desirable systems, they've taken so much out of this game, and I won't even go into all the content that they've sunset and removed. That was such a mistake. I still don't understand why they did it. But aside from that fact, if they create a new baddie, which I'm assuming they're going to do in Frontiers, a new enemy that we're going to be looking or hunting for, wouldn't they do that same thing in Destiny 3? It just has a 3 slapped on it.
No. It wouldn't be as small as Frontiers. You know that. It'd be a lot larger than Frontiers.
I don't know.
If they made a Destiny 3, yeah.
I mean,
even Destiny 2 at the beginning was bigger than, and we didn't like that, but even Destiny 2 at the beginning was bigger than Frontiers is going to be.
Forsaken was a massive amount of content.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing something off in the distance on the Tangled Shore. I'm like, what is that church-like object over there? I see it, but I can't get to it. And I remember driving through the whole map, and I still couldn't get to it. And then I realized it opened up. And then the new raid came out. So, and that's once we went through a certain part in the story, which I'm telling you, things like that would make a big difference in this game. And I just don't know if I'm in the camp of a Destiny 3 yet. Not only because we'd have to wait forever to get one, but if they had some systems that changed the game like they did in Forsaken, I think, and I'm still hopeful that they're going to surprise us in summer with something totally different that's just going to blow us away. And I know that's the shill in me. That's the glass half full guy that I've always been with this game. But if I tell you what, if they don't deliver, no pressure, Bungie, in June, that might be it. That might be the death knell for this game.
And on Allocate's comment on massive shakeup is better with the new title, well, I half agree with you, half agree with her. I don't know if it's necessarily better with a new title, but you will get more shakeup with a new title. Because again, what I said, you can only do so much with the current systems. Even if you do massive shakeups, you can do more with a whole new game.
Think about it. We're going to a whole new solar system. Maybe That's what they've hinted to. We have
Yeah,
a
one
whole
new
new,
location.
we're going away from the light and dark. We're getting into a whole new storyline, a whole new anthem going forward. I don't know. Maybe this is the Forsaken moment. I don't know. But
So
a
do you
lot
think if Forsaken came out today? Because again, a lot of people compare Final Shape to Forsaken. So let's say this is another Final Shape Forsaken moment. It'll last us another 2 or 3 months, and then we'll be back in the same spot.
well, maybe not. Maybe instead of coming out with triumphs, and I'm just spitballing here off the top of my head, maybe it's not triumphs in Frontier. Maybe it is. I mean, it could do anything with it. If you complete a challenge and you get triumph points, and you get to a certain triumph level or guardian rank or whatever you want to call it, and all of a sudden just a big explosion on the screen, and all of a sudden you get all these weapons and all this stuff, and I'm always thinking rewards. But say you open up a different part of the map once you get to that point or something. I mean, I can't think about it because it's up to Bungie to do that. It's not my job to think of these things. It's their job to amaze us, right? So my only point,
they said, yeah.
My only point here is if Destiny 2 is going to continue on, and I know we've been here so many times before where we think it's dead. Destiny's done. Yeah, they can't do anything. They can't come out of this. And I understand that they have less staff, but my argument is, and I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but maybe they weren't the most efficient when they had more people. Maybe they are more efficient now that Sony's overseeing things. I'm just saying.
Well, they aren't. They have more
I'm
bugs.
believe me, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to all the great people who were laid off and are probably with other studios or other careers now. But the way we've heard things were run in the back in the day with management and the way things were run in Bungie, maybe this shakeup is what was needed, or it's going to go the other direction where this is just a slow death.
There's more bugs now. We're getting less content. Yes, I can agree. I'm sure there were some people that should have been let go, but the amount that they let go, no.
Okay.
And
fair enough.
And we have more bugs now and less content. So definitely it was not the right choice to let go of that many people.
I mean, we talked about the changes coming to Telesto, which we've all had forever. I'm excited I can't wait to jump into Heresy now to play that. I want to see these I want to see this charge come from the Telesto, from the sky or whatever they're saying it comes from. I'm excited. This is a change, and it's a small change. It's just a little quality of life change. Can you imagine if they totally changed the way the game's played? And they've already talked about it's going to be like a totally different game type with non-linear stories and stuff. So maybe we just don't know enough. I have a feeling, and I know we're getting close to time here. I have a feeling that Heresy will be okay. It'll be fun. We'll have our fun with it. They can only do so much with a small amount of story that they're going to finish up with. And this is a prologue, but what I'm thinking they're going to have something. I'm hoping they have another Vidoc showing what they're working on in the new studio, what now the new studio looks like. I'm thinking they'll have some kind of Vidoc sometime in the spring. And then we're going to see something. We're going to see what Bungie does really great. And that is they promote the hell out of this game, and they can really get us amped up to play it. I think we'll have another giant little trailer or sneak peek or some kind of teaser or something ramping up into June that we're just going to be like, I can't believe it. And maybe 3 or 4 months from now, we'll be talking about that. But that was my only point is if they do save this game, it's going to have to be a massive shift because we're not going to get a Destiny 3. So our only other option is to pull another Forsaken or pull another King's Fall.
But they aren't. It's going to be Rise of Ironsides, they said.
We'll see. But maybe systems make up for content length. New systems in place or new ways you can.
That'll be an interesting topic, actually. That's a whole nother discussion. Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that either. Like systems are important, but like
quality of life goes a long way.
You can only reskin a pig so many times.
I get that.
You got to have several pigs to have more
I get that,
content.
but if this game is your hobby and they're making changes that make it more fun to play your hobby, then we'll see. I think it's a declining. Obviously I think it's a declining number. We've been seeing that with all the expansions they've come out with. They've had less and less players that have been buying into the expansions. So time will tell. And I'm sure this will not be the last time we talk about this, but
yeah, I know. And I'm really excited for Forsaken too. And now, obviously, like I said at the beginning,
you mean Frontiers?
I know right now they're not doing a Destiny 3 also. I was just talking about, I still think that should be happening, but since they aren't, the best they can do now is have some replayability with, we've mentioned this before actually in previous shows with Forsaken. I think it needs more better live service things, what other games do, where every single week or day you're coming back to this world and there's new mini bosses showing up and stuff. Like true live service that Bungie's never done yet. Now that would be a dramatic change. That would also be something good for a Destiny 3. I'm doubtful they can fit that into the current code base that they have, but if they can, that'll be pretty amazing.
Ryan, I love your optimism, bud. I really do. He says Frontiers will be the new Destiny 3. And that was kind of my point tonight, is that we don't need a new game. We just need new systems. We just need a new shift in the Destiny world and the new Destiny way that we play this game. And what you mentioned, and what if they start bringing AI in to start randomly generating, like you've said you've wanted to do, randomly generating worlds as you move on?
They are a little bit with the solo ops, but I mean it more also like in patrol spaces and things where like game masters can make this a true live service game and plop things into the game like almost immediately. I doubt they can do that with the current code base.
Okay.
That's what a Destiny 3 would have is not this old engine too. That's also limiting them on so many things. Is when this game is 11 years on the same engine, another point, they can only change so much. They do have limitations.
No, I get it. And it's why I asked you to be a host on the show, because I know that you have a totally different viewpoint than I do about the game. And I think that makes for good conversation. So thanks for engaging with it. I really do.
Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
We got a little fun time. We got a little bit of housekeeping to do here, and we are running late. So we will do that right after this. Hang in there. All right. We got our drawing to do. And I've already got our wheel of names ready to go.
Actually, being right around 3 hours isn't as bad as I was worried about.
It's because we're starting earlier.
On the Twit and the Crucible talk.
I mean, I don't think it was I don't think it was avoidable tonight. It was just so much information, but man, I probably could have done the Crucible thing a lot better, but it was just really hard to explain all the technical information without boring people to death. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Let me get to the area I need to get to. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. 3, 2. All right. Before we go tonight, and thanks everybody for your comments in the chats in Discord and in our YouTube channel. We appreciate you guys talking with us every night. It's a lot of fun. Before we go tonight, we want to thank all of you in our community who submitted questions that will go into our 2025 speedrun segment of our show. Our speedrun community question pool is now at over 875 questions that I will randomly pick over this year for our guest shows as part of the interview with them. You kind of experienced that with Wormwood last week. I think it's going to be more fun because I can throw questions out there that maybe you guys might have wanted to ask them. So that was the whole premise behind our contest, is we had a channel where people could enter up to 5 different questions that they wanted to ask. And what we did is, however many entries you put in, up to 5, some people put in like 40. It's amazing. I love the input. I'm going to use those too, by the way. They're going in too. But the ones that I can only count, we had 73 entries this year. 73 entries into our contest. So, if you are one of the lucky ones tonight on our first drawing, just keep in mind, you can't win twice. So if your name comes up again on the second drawing, we'll have to spin again. Just want to let you guys know that before we do it. So I'm going to pull up the wheel.
Ooh, exciting.
Of names. Let's hope this works. Here we go. All right, here we go. Hopefully this works. It did work. It's all right. It's all right. I've got it right here. All right. You won't be able to see the whole screen, but oh, I got an ad. Great. This is our wheel of questions. This is for our speedrun question submission drawings for 2025. If you entered 5 questions or however many questions you entered, up to 5, you will see your name on this list several times. So these are all of our entries for the year. And you can see we got quite a few questions. And these are the ones I could count. Double this number. And this is actually what people actually chimed in on. So we are going to spin the wheel for our first drawing. So here we go. Good luck, guys. The ads. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, the stream is pretty delayed, so I'll be excited to hear
Iron
when
Celt Gaming. Congratulations.
Congrats, man.
$25 Amazon digital gift card. We'll message those to you in the Discord. You can use it right away. Yeah, this is crazy. I don't know if I can. Yeah, screw it. We're doing it live. F it. All right. Our winner number 2. Let me, yep. Okay. Here we go. No, Tech is on there. He's on there 5 times.
Maybe
Steel
we
Zealot.
should do a recount. Steel Zealot.
If you want to take a screenshot, go ahead. I double checked it this time. I double checked it.
I see a lot of toe beans.
Yep. Tobine's put in 5 as well. Oh my God. Seriously?
What? I can't see it yet.
Steel Zealot won it. Steel Zealot won it at the very last second. It was going to pick Iron Celt Gaming again.
Oh.
And Steel Zealot.
Yay,
Steel Zealot won it by just a fraction of an inch. So congrats, Steel Zealot. Yeah. This time. Right. Congrats, everybody. So Iron Celt Gaming and Mr. Steel Zealot. Congrats, guys. I'll get those numbers to you so you can use them right away. And yeah, I'll send you the gift card number, and I'll just give you a screenshot of it and you can use it right away. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that. So that is a majority of our show tonight. I have one little announcement I wanted to make sure I mentioned here before we go. I know that some of you have been following my other podcast over the last couple of years, in fact, Destiny Help Desk, and I'm sad to announce that I've decided to shut it down. I've got a lot to handle right now here with our flagship podcast, Guardian Downcast, and I might possibly be having an interest in a future project that I'm kind of mulling around right now, similar to Playing Favorites that Hazel and I produced years ago. And it's based on more of my real life and not my gaming life, but it's just in the planning stages at the moment. So, yeah, I just want to let you know that, once I know more, I'll definitely, when I decide to publish it, I'll definitely let you guys know about it. This is a ways off, guys, a ways off. It's just something in the thought process right now. Something I've been thinking about, I've been wanting to do. But it's not all bad news. I've decided on future select episodes of Guardian Downcast, I'll be creating a special Destiny Help Desk segment. Most likely it'll be solo and it'll be post-produced, not part of our live show. But this will be more in line with my goal of helping newer players with all the little things in Destiny 2, which is why I created that podcast to begin with. Things that Bungie so poorly gets across these days to our newer or more casual players. So keep an eye out for that segment in future shows. It will be almost always at the end of the podcast episode. So those of you who listen all the way through our episodes, first of all, thanks for doing that, by the way. But you'll discover these episodes, these little special segments kind of along the way as you're listening to the show. So just a short announcement there. I just want to let you know that I will be closing down Destiny Help Desk. And I'm going to create a segment out of it. So it's a win-win. Anyway, hey, I wanted to thank everyone who stopped out tonight to to BS with us and talk with us, whether you're in the Discord or you're in our YouTube chat. It's been pretty lively tonight, to be honest. Really great to see you guys come out and participate. It's been a lot of fun and just puts a lot of gas in my tank to keep doing it. So thank you everyone for stopping out tonight. Hopefully we addressed any comments or questions you had. I know it was mostly an information dump tonight. Thank you, Kingsley, for handling that massive TWAB. Excellent job, sir. Appreciate that.
Welcome, and thanks for the Crucible talk. I would have been no good on that.
Yeah, that was brutal. I'll be honest. That was a lot of information. So, just wanted to let you know if you want to join, if you're hanging out in our Discord, or you're hanging out in our YouTube channel tonight and are like, what's this Discord server? It's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. That's the universal invite to our community. But you can give us more feedback there. You can ask questions for the show or just hang out and talk with our members. It's, there's an LFG, a Destiny Talk channel. Life channel. As Rodimus says, we have too many channels, but I disagree. I love having different channels where people can go and talk with others about certain topics, and it doesn't always have to be Destiny. So, even TV or whatever. So it's, I don't think I'm going to be changing that part. I still love doing that. And something I'm going to be doing for Valentine's Day, I'm thinking about doing it again. It just damn near brought me to tears last time I did it, is I'm going to put since we're getting close to Valentine's Day, last year I put in a show me your before and after pictures, like your before pictures when you first met your partner and after pictures, more like today's pictures. I think I'm going to do that again. Because so many people threw in their pictures in there, and I just love seeing that stuff, and it puts a face to our listeners and our Discord members out there, and it really blew me away. So I'm probably going to do something like that. Have some kind of contest. We'll probably have another Wheel of Names drawing where we'll give something away, and that's only because of our patrons, by the way, because I can't afford to do all that stuff, all these giveaways and stuff. That's all due to our patrons who contribute to our show. So thank you to our Patreon community. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, if you're in YouTube, hit the like button. You know, that'll tell YouTube to show it to more people. Hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed to the channel, and just look through some of my channel. If there's something that can help you out there, that'd be great as well. Again, thank you very much, Kingsley Mac. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, man. And how can people find you out there in the interweb, sir?
Oh, just the normal way. Kingsley Mac in the Discord. I'm still Kingsley in game. I'll have to see if I can change that at some point. Kingsley Mac on Blue Sky and X.
Awesome. Todd the Gator everywhere. 2 Ds and GATR. YouTube, Twitter, Discord, even my gamer tag in Destiny 2 is that. I actually have 3 different accounts. So 5973 is my main one. If you want to send me a friend request, I get those every now and then. That'd be great. But other than that, Kingsley, anything you wanted to add before we go?
Oh, good show, and I was happy to be here tonight.
Lots of information tonight, a big info dump. Mm-hmm. So I think we did the best we could tonight, Kingsley. So thank you, sir. Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you in the Discord. And later, Guardian. Take care, guys.
Have a good one.